Legends fans, and welcome to the ABL action on some Tuesday night going on right now. I am Fridge, your host and color commentator. I am joined tonight by my buddy Audio Adrenaline. How you doing,
Hello.
buddy?
I am doing great. I'm glad I finally get to cast with you.
I know!
Through 2 full seasons of the ABL, we have never once been on the caster desk together, and that right there is a crime against humanity.
It is kind of a crime. I didn't think of it like that until you mentioned it, but yeah, I kind of agree.
When I first wanted to become a caster for the ABL, I was promised that we could be the dynamic casting duo, but then we both did color, and we both were only available on opposite days, and it just never happened.
Yeso wanted all the glory to himself. I'm the play-by-play, and nobody else gets to touch it.
Wow.
Just kidding,
Yeso
I love
changed.
Yeso. I'm just kidding, I love Yeso.
We all love you, Yeso. If you're listening, which I hope you are.
Oh yeah, good times. So we've got some action going on tonight. It is going to be between Full Send Gaming and Conqueror. They are currently doing a pro draft. We're just kind of gonna shoot the shit a wee bit here while we wait for them to get out. So I guess we should probably do a roster rundown, huh?
Absolutely. So on the blue side today, we have Conqueror Gaming with Bad Player in the top lane, Virginico in the jungle, Koros in the mid lane, and Clock and Bardo bringing up the bottom lane for us today. I can't even say Clock's an AD carry because AD carries are like...
I know! Nothing makes sense. Nothing makes sense right now.
Like, I don't even know what Clock's going to play. You know, is he going to play a marksman? Is he going to bring out a juicy bruiser? Nobody knows. Anything, especially in the ABL, anything can happen in these games.
Absolutely, and I will say it's pretty entertaining to watch from like a spectator's perspective. It's great, but I gotta be honest,
It feels pretty bad.
I hate playing in it. I hate playing in this meta, but it's pretty entertaining to watch. I'll give you that, Riot. I'll give you that one. All right. So that would mean on the red side we've got Full Send Gaming. In the top lane we've got Kalkiki. In the jungle, Slave. Mid laner is Ozzy, and in the bot lane we're gonna have Jacob and Merc.
Yes,
so,
and as we were talking about, the meta is just a little bit out of whack right now. So for anybody tuned in that hasn't been really keeping up with League of Legends lately, basically ADC is dead. Riot nerfed their base stats into the ground, and now the bot lane is filled with things like Yasuo's, Vladimir's, Aurelia's, just all sorts of fun stuff. But so really anything can happen in these games. Every champion could technically be a flex pick.
It's unfortunately true.
So, draft phase is especially interesting. I actually just did get the word that we are ready to start the draft phase. Once we get in here, it is going to be going very quickly as these teams have picked their champions beforehand.
Yeah, this is going to go pretty quickly here, so it looks like the first couple bans here on the table are going to be the Zoe, Nocturne, and Brand here coming out from Conqueror.
I definitely like the Zoe being a takeaway from Ozzy. One of his kind of signature champions towards the back half of this season, last split, he was just dominant on this champion. And I actually believe in the game Schism vs. Guardian Esports yesterday, I think it was Guardian Esports that was able to get Zoe the second game, and even though it didn't really fit into their composition so well, just the damage coming out from that champion right now is just can't be dealt with. 1 or 2 items and you start one-shotting swishes.
Yeah, I agree.
Insane.
And Ozzy's done a pretty good job for the most part of getting leads in these mid lanes this season, so not something you want to see him on with a lead. Nocturne as well has been climbing up the popularity charts lately. Been seeing that a fair bit. Not super surprised to see it taken off the table. He's generally built pretty heavy in the damage and does basically one-shots your carry of choice, essentially. But we do have Ornn locked in. I like Ornn, but he has dropped pretty heavily on this patch down like the power rankings tiers.
Ooh, Ozzy there with the Aurelian Soul.
Yeah,
Yes,
Asol's
you're
going to be
definitely
pretty
right.
fun to watch. I'm excited.
Yeah, I definitely love Aurelion Sol as a champion, getting to watch him, all the cool mechanics these players can pull off with him. But I definitely agree with you. Ornn dropping in popularity with all the bruisers in the top lane. The meta's kind of shifted to, champions that are good in the 1v1 that don't really need a lot of items to succeed. And Ornn, although he does have some early lane damage, can, kind of needs those 3-4 items before he really becomes that front line. And Conqueror Gaming here, kind of has, I already see the double front line coming out of the Ornn and the Sejuani, so it looked like they were going for a little bit more of a scaling composition until Clock picked Draven.
Well, you always got that Draven to fall back on, and honestly, with the meta right now is pretty snowbally. If you can get a lead for Clock here, he's going to be insanely hard to deal with come mid-game. Honestly, like 1 to 2 items on Draven, especially if you have a lead, can just be detrimental for your entire team.
And we do see both the Xayah and the Rakan going over for Full Send Gaming here, but, as good as that duo is together, Xayah, a crit ADC, really struggling this patch because crit, with some nerfs to not only the way crit works, but also some increase in price on the crit items themselves, crit damage comes online way later in the game than it used to, but also Bardo picking up the Morgana here for the support, which is such a strong counter to Merc's Rakan. If Rakan tries to grand entrance into a fight or even on top of the Draven, Morgana with the Black Shield can almost completely nullify the engage. And Draven, one of the, hardest ADCs to play if there is CC on the enemy team, so that Morgana just really allows the Draven so much more freedom in these fights, being able to move around, catch his axes easier without having to worry about getting locked down. So I really like the pick there from the bottom lane. Even if they did go a little more traditional ADC in support, I definitely think the bottom lane of Conqueror came out on ahead on this one.
Yeah, and I can agree with that. Xayah does have a little bit of self-peel with that Featherstorm, and you mentioned putting the Lovers bot lane together, the Xayah and Rakan. They are a little bit stronger together. It's not anything that's going to necessarily overwhelm the opposition all the time, but I do agree. I love this Morgana pick to help protect Clock on this Draven. Give him a little bit of a safety net with that Black Shield to be able to block CC and whatnot. Something to maybe make note of here is this mid lane. I like Swain a lot. I mean, Swain is obnoxious if he gets a lead. So Choro has no problem grabbing that up. I believe we saw him play that, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say last week, and had a really, really strong game on it. It was either last week or 2 weeks ago. I lose track of time. But had a really, really good game on it. No problem picking it up here in this game as well. So we'll see if he can do anything with that in the mid lane here. But you mentioned the Aurelion Sol, and I think that's going to kind of be the question mark here. We know Ozzy's a great player, but I don't think we've seen anyone on Asol.
Again, that he's one of the best mid laners in the ABL. Have we seen him on Asol though? I don't think we've seen. He's played so many champions. Ozzy plays so many champions.
I don't think we've seen anyone on Asol in this league. I'm not sure, but
definitely have yesterday.
Oh, did someone yesterday?
Asol
okay.
Showed up in one of the games versus.
okay.
Versus
See, I didn't see yesterday.
It did pick up the win there. It actually did extremely well. They were able to pull it off quite, pretty much to perfection. But I want to talk a little bit about the team compositions here, because we kind of have two different styles that these teams have set up. If you look over at Conqueror Gaming, you have a lot of kind of AoE teamfight potential. You have the Call of the Forge God from Bad Players Ornn to kind of set up the fights from long range, and then the Sejuani to kind of back it up with her ultimates engage, as well as Swain just popping in there with his ult. And then, obviously just Draven and Morgana applying the damage and the supporting in the backline. But then you look over at Full Sun Gaming, and at first, it's kind of hard to see how they're composition meshes together well. You know, they don't really have a whole lot of synergy with their champions, but what they do have going for them is a lot of winning lanes. So the Jax should be winning up in the top lane against bad player. I expect the Aurelion Soul Khan, you know, that is one of the strongest traditional lanes in the ABL. As long as they can keep that Draven from getting ahead, the Xayah Rakan will eventually come out on top. So although Conqueror Gaming does have, you know, a nice composition set up for them, if they fall behind in all of their lanes, they can really run into trouble here.
Yeah, I completely agree. I feel like Conqueror's built themselves a really, really strong team fight with a Draven to basically just sit on the backline and essentially mow people down.
Do you think they're going to be able to stall the game long enough to get that team fight online, though? Because we have seen games going a lot quicker in this meta.
That's what I'm a little bit concerned about. If they can get a couple items onto these tanks, specifically onto bad player's Ornn here, because I feel like when Ornn gets a couple items, he can basically tank 3 people and take them completely out of the fight himself. And Virginico on this Sejuani pick will just be able to have so much lockdown to follow up with the rest of the team as well. Or I shouldn't even say follow up with necessarily, likely engage with.
Ooh,
but
well, we'll see how these teams are able to pull off the compositions they have set up. But right now, Full-Time Gaming might be catching up Bardo here. He is going to spot out all 5 members down here in the bottom river. And it looks like they're just going to disengage. That could have been bad news bears right there.
Yeah, definitely, but did step a little bit further forward.
Will they find Virginico? No, they're just Kalki's just gonna walk through the lane, give him a good thumbs up, say hi, howdy do. Who wants a piece
dance
of
party.
the champ?
Little dance party there in the mid lane.
But something that, you know, that little 5-man invade didn't come without its cost though, because as Bardo was able to spot out all 5 members in the bottom river, that allowed Virginico and Bad Player to walk up and ward Slave's red buff. So they are now going to know which side of the map he is starting on.
Yeah, and that's pretty vital information at level 1, as that could allow Virginico to go in and grab up that red buff, if he so chooses, as he will know that that is not where Slave is starting right now, so could use that info.
Ooh, Bardo just looking to try to steal the blue buff there, but finds Rakan instead. Not too much going to go on, not really going to miss anything. Looks like the bottom laners might want to try to pressure the Lovers duo off, and a nice dark binding onto Jacob there. And
I love that. That's so obnoxious as an Ornn player to play against Jax, because once you have that, right, you don't get that knockback, you don't get that extra damage. It's so annoying nice to play against.
Landed onto Ozzy, and Koros wanted to go in for some poke, gets a nice trade there. Yeah, that is pretty annoying.
I mean, he's still putting out some decent damage, but that extra knockback with the brittle.
Dark binding landed there on Jacob, but now Slave is coming in behind. Nice flag and drag onto Gasm, but the Black Shield goes onto the Draven, but Slave taking a lot of damage back from Clock there in that fight, as well as Jacob getting pretty low himself. Both the jungler and the EDC are about a quarter health.
Yeah, and
started out looking like a good trade.
Yeah, thought Slave had the advantage there, but that was actually a pretty solid binding to keep this FSG bot lane from being able to group up and help him. They were able to turn that back around for a lot of damage.
Virginico wants to go into the mid lane to try to make something happen. Gets a couple of stacks onto Ozzy, but Slave walks up and deters any further aggression. Ooh, and Bardo finally misses a binding.
Technically it hit a minion, so it hit something. 100% still. I got you, Bardo. 100%. I got you, Bardo. My boy. Or girl.
You see a nice little CS lead up here in the top lane for Kalkiki. Result of him being able to bully out that Ornn. Although he has traded a good chunk of his health to get it.
Yeah, he's taking a bit of damage, but Bad Player's running a little bit low on this mana, whereas with a Corrupting Potion, Kalkiki's managed to keep his both health and mana high.
Ozzy is almost completely out here, and Koros lands the body, and that Ozzy has to flash away. Koros has the flash available, but does he have mana for the Q? He does, and that's first blood going over to Swain. But now Kalkiki might be in trouble up here in the top lane. Has the stack on him, but he can't get knocked back right now. He has his E up. And Kalkiki, or Bad Player's just going to walk away. Kalkiki will live today.
Good snare.
Dark Binding landed onto the Rakan. He Grand Interest is in, but a nice black shield there onto Clock. Clock is completely out of mana, cannot use any axes. And man, we just got fights all across the board.
I know, a little bit of everything happening everywhere there.
Ooh, Kalkiki, you're really low up there, bud.
He's playing with fire, and I would say that kind of literally in that case. I made a freak pun, guys.
Out of mana. Funny.
Yeah, I'm gonna be the best dad one day. All right, so
Ooh.
Bad Player with a disconnect. Not exactly
That's why
sure.
you didn't kill him. It was all lag, guys.
It was lag. It had to be lag.
Gotta be lag. I didn't kill so much lag. Lag.
Despite the amount of damage being traded over from Bad Player onto Kalkiki, he still has a 10 CS advantage. He's gonna back. I don't even know if he's gonna use the teleport here. He's got that wave pushed in pretty nicely. He won't miss a whole lot of CS.
No, he should be fine. Something I would have liked to see, though, is Virginico roaming up to that top side, because that Jax was pushed up pretty far at low health, probably up there for, a couple, 3 or 4 minutes. With really, he has the Q for an escape, but, you could at least go up there, try to burn a summoner or something. But now that Jax able to get back to base, now has full stacks now on his Corrupting Potion as well as a Vampiric Scepter. So, the small amount of poke that Bad Player has been able to dish out over the course of this lane is going to be mitigated by that lifesteal and healing.
Yeah, and I generally you'll see Jax get Trinity Force first, but this Vamp Scepter is going to help him sustain through this lane. He has been having a little bit of trouble in the trades, essentially able to block off some of the extra damage here with that Counter-Strike, but ultimately losing out. Did I see? I thought I saw him say he reconnected here. Did he not?
Yep. We got the ready from Full Send Gaming, I believe. We still are waiting. Oh, I think we have ready from both sides. Just waiting for the pause to actually be removed. Hopefully that will be in a couple seconds. But I want to look at this bottom lane matchup, because although Draven does have a 7 CS lead, it's about it. And
it's about it.
Draven, one of those 80 carries that really needs a couple of gold ahead, but now a flash Grand Entrance coming in. Clock is getting low. He has the Black Shield, but United is on him. Jacob gonna pick up the kill there though, and Ozzy just roaming down. And although he doesn't even get into the fight, he is hit by a Dark Binding there. Nice shot by Bardo. It applies enough pressure that Merc can flash Grand Entrance in on the Clock. The Black Shield not quite quick enough, but now Virginico wants to try his hand at taking down Slave over this Scuttle. Ozzy is roaming back up. It is a 2v2 in the middle lane.
Looks like not a whole lot going to happen off the back of it there, but that was actually a really, really solid flash Grand Entrance. Completely caught Bardo off guard. Did not manage to get that Black Shield off in time. Then Merc dropped the Ignite. Clock burned down. And that was all there was to it. Good trade here.
Who wants to go in has the Conqueror procs, but it already used his Q. So isn't able to chase afterwards. Bad Player trading back a good chunk of damage on his own.
Yeah, and that's an interesting thing now, because both of these top laners have a mechanic of sorts that can kind of counter the enemy. Now you got the counter strike here from Kalkiki that can basically block that knockback.
By Ozzy. No, they're not gonna.
Another snare.
Ooh, but a nice snare onto Jacob, and now Clock wants to go in. Jacob is getting really low, but Morgana is gonna go down first, and Clock does pick up the shutdown kill, and he might get 2 onto Merc. Virginico's gonna take it up, and a double kill for Clock here. Not only the double kill, the shutdown gold and the passive gold, but now Slave wants to come avenge his fallen brethren. Clock gets knocked up here, and Aurelion Soul gonna ignite him, just gonna completely shut down the Draven. Now Virginico is pretty healthy. I don't expect him to go down. Slave is actually pretty low. Koros starting to roam down. Ozzy's got to be careful if he sticks around too much longer.
Yeah, some more action
Gotta make a pit
happening.
stop on the ward.
Happening kind of across the map here. Looks like we do see
It's
Heat going
definitely
back.
a product of the meta that we are in. Nice grab there onto the Xayah. Rakan is here to help out his lover.
Yeah, and actually this bot lane rotating up to mid. Just, I guess, covering that for a brief moment there while
Yeah, I
Ozzy
think they
backed up.
realized, you know, they probably won't be able to fight this Draven anymore, because that was a lot of gold that just went over to the Draven. Not
Yeah,
only 2 kills,
the adoration stacks is the big thing.
the adoration stacks plus the shutdown gold. Shutdown gold was just reworked, so all of the gold goes to the individual player that got
Correct,
the shutdown,
correct.
rather than the entire team. So from that 1 kill, even though Xayah only had 2 kills, Draven got a bonus 450 gold. So he was able to go back to lane or base and get a full BF sword
Yeah.
and vampire scepter.
And that's going to be pretty scary. He's running the Conqueror as well on engage here.
But now Virginigo getting caught up in the jungle. Nice flag and drag, and the ultimate by Ozzy will take him out. Nice little roam there.
Yeah, and it looks like they have some pretty solid ward coverage over there, so may have seen him walk into that side of the map and just predicted him at the Wolves. Call the Forge God.
Ooh, Call of the Forge God coming out. Bad player is getting dove. Can he out 1v3 though? He's out of mana. Kaukiki tanking up the turret shots. He is getting low. Bad player is still alive. Now Ozzy takes the aggro, but he's going to get caught up by Clock under the turret. And that is a kill traded back. Kaukiki and Slave will slink away. Kaukiki blinking health bar over there. Slave misses the flag and drag though. He could be in trouble.
Oh!
Catches them with the never move, and bye-bye Jarvan. A killing spree for Koros.
Wow, really, really well played there, and unfortunately for bad player, I actually think he could have 1v3'd that if he had mana.
He had the mana.
If he had mana, that shield could have come in, and I think he could have 1v3'd that, but gonna have to settle for the roam to top from Choros here. Is it Choros or Koros? I say Choros, because I'm an American, and I don't recognize other languages or ways of pronouncing things.
I say Koros because, you know, Choros sounds too much like churros.
I love churros, so, you know.
I mean, I love churros too, but I don't think that's what he was going for with his name.
Well, maybe we'll have to
Can
ask
he
him
live up to
eventually,
the
but
potential of churros?
I don't know. He started 3-0, so, I mean, maybe?
That is true. You make a good point. You make good points.
But even still, you mentioned not long ago this Draven starting out 2-2 right now, but engaged down here on
fight here, the grand entrance and the quickness coming through. Will charm Bardo up in the ignite. He is gonna fall, but Virginigo is also in trouble here in the jungle. The flag and drag will mix. Clock is gonna get out alive on the bottom lane, but Bardo did fall to the grand entrance, ignite, and quickness. Now Kiki down to about half health, gets knocked up by bad player.
All right, so nice knockup.
Ford has to be careful, gets hit by the grand entrance, and Jacob wanting to pick up that kill. Clock is slinking away, but he is 1 hit from death. But Jacob out of mana is just gonna back off.
So
And Clock lives to fight another day.
little bit aggressive there from Clock, stepping up to try and
Yeah, he doesn't
gather
have
that
black shield
CS.
there for him.
No support there to help him out with that black shield, but it looks like he saw Jacob and Merc backing, so he is going to clear this next wave. He was brought extremely low and probably would have died if not for Jacob running himself completely out of mana there. Meanwhile, in top lane, we're sitting at about a 25 CS advantage here for Kaukiki's Jax. So, 0-0-1 on him. Both of these top laners playing a little bit more of a passive game anyway, but a little bit of trading here and there, but nothing over the top happening outside of that one dive.
Shiniko securing his red buff. He's victorious in his fight. Giant Poro versus Giant Red Monster thing, but Call the Forge out coming out onto Kaukiki just to save the turret here. Doesn't look like that player is going to be able to collapse. Also doesn't have any allies within range to follow up.
He managed to actually get out of tower range there before that Call of the Forge guy got returned for the knockup, though. That would have
I think he
actually...
had one last... He was able to use his ward to hop out, I believe. No, that ward is about to expire. Kaukiki now going in. Sun's bad player, but he does buffer the E correctly, and he will get out of there. But now Slave, flag and drag onto the Swain. The Aurelian Soul Q is gonna miss, but Koros on his ultimate. Oh, nice! The 20 ultimate to stop Rakan from coming in. Rakan is gonna go down, but so will Koros. It's a 1-for-1 trade so far, but make that 2-for-1 as Draven picks up the double kill with his ultimate.
Okay, so that was actually a really risky play from FSG. Slave thought he had the catch there on Toros, but
well, I think he thought he had his bot lane coming to back him up, but Virginico was able to get such a nice ultimate on Merc right as he used the ultimate.
Yeah, they did get stopped. That was a really solid ult
Oh,
there.
Kaukiki!
All right. That is Conqueror. That is Conqueror, ladies and gentlemen.
Kaukiki able to just jump in and chunk out an instant 400 to 500 health onto bad player before he's able to react. But now
nice.
Koros wants to avenge his top player. The never move not gonna hit. He is a pretty speedy boy with that Cloud Drake, but Kaukiki just ward hops away.
So now the 1v1 kill. He's gonna have Blade of the Rune King on this back. Does finish it up, grabs up a pair of boots, and we're looking at a Jax here with a 30 to 35 CS advantage.
Yeah, and Blade of the Ruined King, I'm a little surprised by that when he really wants to win this 1v1 against the Ornn. That is where he wants to be.
Yeah, that says 1v1.
I'm expecting him to play more of a split push kind of play style in this game, rather than the Triforce jump in and one-shot everybody.
He'll probably go for a Triforce next, but for now, more focused on killing.
Call the Forge out here on Ozzy in the middle lane. He gets knocked up, and Koros pulls him back. The W is going to get him, and he will fall. Koros now 4-1 on this sway. Nice roam by bad player there.
Yeah, and I think he got back to lane and said, you know what? This isn't going as well. I'm going to roam down. He is starting to lose out.
Because with Jax building that Blade of the Ruined King, the Glacial Fisher goes wide on the Slave, but a never move anyway, misses the flag and drag again.
Feels
now
bad.
Down, but Kaukiki up here trying to take down this turret in the middle of fighting bad player. Now bad player doesn't have a turret to defend him. Blade of the Ruined King is gonna pop. Bad player will flash away, but he cannot escape. Kaukiki gonna flash to pick up that kill as well.
And that's why you go Bork.
Match him in the top lane. Who can?
And that's why you go Bork right there. He actually just melted bad player up there in that top lane.
He did.
Between the Blade of the Ruined King and Conqueror, that is so strong into like pure tanks like Ornn. Plus the extra attack speed's letting him burn down this tower decently quick. Not gonna get it right here, but
Ozzy lands the stun onto Koros, but that is a decently tanky Swain already, and he's able to poke back a lot of damage onto Ozzy, both about half health. But Kaukiki is going to town on this turret.
He is gonna get it this wave.
He does have a ward over on the side.
Sneaky guy, that Kaukiki. I stand corrected.
Oh, he is tagged up by the Swain W. He will be slowed. Bardo walking up to try to get the stun. But
did he just jump? Did he just jump to the honey fruit?
He did.
Oh, it's amazing. Good heads up play from him just to be sure he got away.
Kaukiki has actually been so good with these wards in lane. He's constantly had multiple wards placed throughout the lane that he can jump to in case of a fight. So that other fight where he jumped away, and I was wondering when he had placed that ward. He had actually placed it, previously, just randomly placed it down in the lane just in case he needed to get away. So playing this lane extremely smart.
Yeah, I completely agree, and it was a little bit of a rough start for him, but after he got a few levels under his belt, he got a little bit of that attack speed and lifesteal here. It was just before he finished the Blade of the Ruined King that he became problematic, so to speak.
Middle lane turret going down pretty much for free here, but now Kaukiki walking straight into Virginico. Call of the Forge God coming out, and he will get tagged up. I don't know if he can jump his way out of it.
Oh my god!
He doesn't get him though, and just pops him. But now on the other side of the map, the quickness is coming through. Kaukiki's still alive, not for long though. Koros will go down. Another kill for the Draven, and as it stands is a 2-4-2.
Yeah, and so that was pretty much just Kaukiki getting caught out a little bit, but turning it back onto that squishy Bardo there, seeing that he'd already used that Black Shield on an ally, basically guaranteed him that kill there. Between the Blade of the Moon King and the Conqueror, there was no way he wasn't getting that at the very least, and even I was a little bit surprised by how much damage he put out that quickly.
Yeah, he was able to get his Sheen on his last back, so that's where a good majority of the burst damage came from.
Helps quite a bit with that first auto attack.
Sheen proc on top of the W damage added.
Did drop for it, but on the backside of that fight, we did also see Merc and I believe it was Ozzy picking up a kill as well, while Slave dropped.
The spectator cam was kind of jumping back and forth there. Didn't quite know what was going on, but I did see Merc dive in with the quickness. I believe he might have just been tagged up by Virginico's ultimate again. I see that on cooldown. So, you know, if that was the case, then Virginico doing a very good job landing these Glacial Fissures. And Merc just kind of got popped there.
Yeah, he's been pretty on point. Saw one miss, but it was when they were taking a tower, and he can, at least at that point, use the excuse it was for zoning.
I think they still got the kill there, too. Because
yes, they did.
Slave missed the flag and drag there.
Yes.
Now, bad player walking into Kaukiki is going to get stunned up. Conqueror procs, and that's a lot of damage. Jax pops the ultimate, and he probably could just chase this under turret. Bad player is going to try to turn it around, and Kaukiki is going to back off. Sees the W from Swain. Doesn't want to fight a 1v2, but now Merc wants to dive in with the quickness. Does get tagged up by the binding, and Slave has to flash out, but Ozzy just putting in work, and Clock is deleted. Now Bardo tries to go in, a nice bonding onto Merc. Seals his fate now. Jacob popping the heal, trying to get his team away, but the Swain W is going to slow them. Teleport coming in from bad player. Virginico is in, has a black shield on him, but now Kaukiki joins the fight. Wants to blow up the Morgana, but she uses the stopwatch, and Koros is able to take him out. Now Slave going to fall to Virginico here. Ozzy flying away as Conqueror cleans up the opposition and gets a Cloud Drake with the icing on the cake.
Wow, what a purely chaotic fight that was. It started down in the bot lane, actually, of all places, for a fight that kind of happened mostly mid through Dragon area, but Kaukiki went a little bit too hard on that tower dive on bad player. And honestly, like, Conqueror... Like, it's amazing how much extra damage you get when you get that Conqueror available. We saw that right there, and he almost took out bad player. But just the threat of Choros being down in that area made him back up a little bit. Saw him drop that W and said, you know what, I'm not diving this. But that fight actually ended up happening mostly throughout mid lane and the river, following it where it looked like FSG had a pretty solid engage, picked up a kill pretty early on, and ended up getting chased down. Lost a couple members in the end.
Merc, though, has just been shut down at every turn. Dives in with the quickness once again, and he thinks he's safe from the Glacial Fissure because it's on cooldown, but Bardo hits him with the Cosmic Binding the second he pops the ultimate. I think it's happened 3 times in a row now where Merc has popped the quickness and just immediately got in CC. And isn't able to join the fight at all.
One of the most annoying things in the world is trying to engage with Rakan, and I actually saw this last week as well. When you try to engage pop ult,
wants to start the Baron. This is really gutsy. Slave does have vision. He is popped a ward. Gets that small burst of vision. Let me see where the Baron is. That Baron is at about half health. Ozzy checking over with his Q. The entire team is here. This could turn out to be a huge fight. Nice Cosmic Binding onto Slave. Glacial Fissure goes wide, but Slave just gets popped. Now Murky goes into the back. He hits the quickness and the grand entrance. Kaukiki on top of Clock. Isn't going to pick him up, though. He is going to fall before he can get a kill. And Koros is going to shut down Ozzy.
Good heads up play there from Conqueror, knowing they can win a team fight. They have a comp that is built for the team fight.
But now Jacob trying to stall as much time as he can. Koros gets the never move on to Merc, but it's not going to be enough. Virginico getting really low, though. That's their main tank that they just lost in this fight. 2,000 health on the Baron. No smite available, but I don't think they're going to need it, as the Baron is going to go over to Conqueror Gaming.
Not at all needed, and now pretty standard first couple items here for Draven. Does finish the blood or the blade. Jesus. Bloodthirster. I can't think of words English so hard. And the Storm Razor. Oh, man. Jeez, words are hard, man. English hard, what is?
And Conqueror just kind of wiping the floor with Full Send Gaming here. Koros 9-2 on this Swain. Has the Morellonomicon, has the fully stacked Rod of Ages, and has the Leandry's Torment. We were talking about how Swain kind of needs that 3-4 item power spike before he really turns into a monster in these team fights.
He's been a monster
it's easy to get that
up till
power
now.
spike when you've got 9 kills.
Yeah, it's hard to say he's gonna turn into a monster when he just started as a monster. It's apparently he's not having any. Uh-oh. Looks like a pause.
Disconnecting. We will run into a pause. Hopefully he will reconnect soon. His team says that they think he's reconnecting.
Oh, jeez.
That doesn't sound too confident, though.
That is not the most promising response I've heard. We think he's coming back. Well, we know he probably didn't rage quit based on these past couple of fights.
Yeah.
So that's a small bright side.
His team's up, 4,000 gold. I don't think he rage quit.
Unlikely. It is unlikely. And they're sitting on a Baron waiting to keep the push going here in mid lane. You have Kaukiki pushing up in that top lane. Now, is it worth it for him to keep pushing this? He has a pretty solid-sized wave up there, but if a fight happens, and now Conqueror's won the past few fights, I don't know if I like the idea of him staying up there. I think he has to back here. Despite how strong he is.
I actually don't mind him being in this side lane because, you did mention that Conqueror has won the last few fights, and we talked in the draft phase about the team fighting composition that they have set up for themselves. The Call of the Forge God, the Glacial Fisher, the ultimate coming out from Swain, lots of big team fight damage, and, in the early game where we saw Kaukiki have success was in the 1v1, in the split push. He was able to take down a turret. So if he can get down there and pull some members of Conquer away from the fights, because I think if he goes in the middle lane and, he's not going to be able to do much. They're going to push with this Baron regardless. And if they try to stop it, they're just going to lose a fight and lose even more. So I think Kaukiki is kind of doing the smart play here by trying to draw pressure elsewhere. And if they don't go answer him, then they get some turrets back for themselves.
Yeah, and I don't fully disagree with it, but my thought here is, if I'm Conqueror, we have Baron. This tower, this inner tower's gone. It's as simple as that. FSG's gonna have to give that up. But if you're FSG, you're playing a 4v5 under your inhib tower, and Conqueror's been winning the fights 5v5. So if you throw it into a 4v5 situation, add the tower, you might as well consider it a 5v5 at that point. But regardless, as long as Conqueror doesn't miss every single skill shot, they can tower dive, win the fight, and then it's 1v4, maybe. I think Kaukiki gets an inhib tower, maybe even an inhib, but it might cost them the game if he doesn't back and help deal with this Baron.
I think Full Send Gaming might just have to give up the inhibitor turret, if not the inhibitor here, because, honestly...
I don't think they have a choice at this point.
I think Conquer could probably turret dive and, win the fight regardless if Kaukiki is there. Kaukiki doesn't have any wave clear. If he wants to try to stop this at all, he's going to have to go into the fight. But we'll see what they are going to do here as we are waiting on the pause. Waiting for Clock to respond. If Clock's not there, then maybe Full Send Gaming can...
Right. Then we're all talking hypothetically here on this. That's assuming Clock reconnects and they all just group mid. I think I completely agree. I think they get this inhib tower almost regardless. But assuming a fight is played out really well from FSG, I think 5v5 plus turret might give them a decent chance of winning a fight, or at least taking off a few Barons and not letting them get an inhib. In my opinion, like you mentioned, Kaukiki is basically invincible in a 1v1 situation right now. So, we talk this much about him being hard to kill 1v1, how much damage he's doing. We haven't mentioned in a while CS, and he's up by almost 100. He's hitting almost 90 CS up, actually.
Close to that flame horizon.
That's 20. We'll say 23. We'll round up, and we'll give bad player the benefit of the doubt here. We'll round up, say 23 minutes. But almost 100 CS up. This is pretty scary.
So
in 1v1s.
It does seem like Clock's internet went out. So Bad Player is on the phone with him right now, trying to figure out what's going on, but it seems as Clock does not have access to an internet connection at the moment.
That is really unfortunate.
It definitely is, especially seeing how well they are doing in the game right now.
Yeah, and 9-2 on to this Wayne, 5-3 on to this Draven. Both of these carries doing their job quite well. Bardo's been pretty on point with those bindings as well, so...
Bardo has been doing absolutely phenomenon in these fights. Just on one hand, shutting down Merc. Not even really with the Black Shield. The Black Shields have been good, but they haven't.
The bindings
been
too.
Amazing. It's the bindings. The bindings are what really are winning a lot of these team fights because Merc does offer a lot of engaged potential. If he can get in there and get the quickness onto 3 or 4 of the members, and Slave dives on top of that, Aussie stuns on top of that, they do have a nice combination they can set up there, but that all hinges on Merc and Slave initiating that combination. If Bardo just, perma stuns them with his bindings, then FSG is no engage, and they can't do anything. So
yeah.
Bardo really being the catalyst for Conqueror to win these team fights.
Yeah, I completely agree. Excuse me. And, honestly, it's not even that FSG is playing poorly by any means. I mean, Slave's been caught out a couple times, had the unfortunate flag and drag miss there in the mid lane. They ended up getting him killed, but...
Slave actually, I think Slave's been misplaying quite a bit today. I can count about 3 or 4 flag and drags that I've noticed him missing in key situations. Once up in the top lane that I remember that he would have escaped if he had hit it, as well as the one in the middle lane that he would have escaped if he had hit it. And in the bottom lane for the first gank, he missed it as well, which would have netted his AD carry first blood.
Yeah,
so
unfortunate there, but otherwise, I mean...
Slave really underperforming here in this series on the Jarvan, 1-6 right now. And he still went for the Warrior enchantment as well. Looks like he is going for more of a taking
Warrior's
playstyle
not,
after that.
Warrior's not surprising, yeah. Not surprising, but I agree he should probably be going beefy after.
It looks like he is going a more tinky playstyle, after that. He has the Spectre's Cowl, he has the Kittle Gem as well as the Ninja Tabby.
Yeah, and smart from him to do that. He recognizes he's behind. A lot, how many times you see players, especially, I mean, granted, this is a little bit more solo QE, but, people will fall behind and then they'll just keep building damage on, a bruiser or something, say, even, in this case, Jarvan. You'll see people still go, Black Cleaver, some lethality, and it's dude, you're behind, man, you're gonna lose us the game, and if it's on the other team, it doesn't happen because they're always ahead. I changed my mind, alright. The other team's always ahead, so...
So, Clock's internet is still out. We are trying to get this fixed. We don't have an ETA.
We're at the 20-minute mark. So, okay, there's a 10-minute pause timer. Who paused at the beginning of the game?
FSG can unpause the game at 18 minutes and 30 seconds. Both teams have agreed to that. So in about a minute and 15 seconds, FSG will be able to unpause the game, and Conqueror will just have to play without clock. So
fair enough.
That changes things.
A little bit.
So right now, the conversation we were having right as the pause started was Kaukiki. Should he be staying in this top lane and split pushing, or should he move to the middle lane, try to help his team defend?
Oh, now you split push forever.
They don't have block. Now that they don't have the DPS to take down the turrets, definitely 100% you can stay pushing that middle lane. I think Conqueror now has to kind of call off their push. the Baron, yes, you have the Baron, but you have to be able to answer that Jax. I don't think you can push fast enough.
Don't know that they fully need to call off this push. I think they are pretty committed to this mid turret here. I think they get this inner turret, and then
turret for sure.
They need to, at the very least, send someone back to get Baron and Power Minions to help deal with Kaukiki up here. But I don't even think it's any sort of a debate anymore.
As a wave.
I don't think it's any sort of a debate anymore. If this does go in, and it looks like it is starting back up 4v5, Kaukiki just split pushes this to his cart's content, basically.
Yeah, Kaukiki also doesn't have the wave. Looks like Clock is just gonna AFK walk back to base, and Conqueror gonna continue the push into the middle lane. They do still have the Baron. Let's see if they have enough damage to really take this out. Nice stun there onto Bad Player. The Baron empowered minions are here, 4 members strong. They're just gonna kind of protect this cannon minion. And with the cannon minion, it does look like they do have enough DPS to take down the turret, and now Virginica wants to go in for the fight. Call the Forge God coming now, and Ozzy just gets popped as well as Slave, and they don't even need Clock. The damage is there. Koros is able to just destroy 2 members.
Oh, that's there!
It's onto the Zaya. She has to use the ultimate to get away, but it's not going to be enough. She is going to go down as well, and now with Baron empowered minions on the turrets, this is just going to be the game. 20 seconds on all 3 members. Jax is still pushing on the bottom.
Look at this! Doesn't do it.
Time. It's gonna be a base raid. But I don't think they're going to have enough time. 4 members strong onto the Nexus
with
already.
The Baron.
Jax just took down 1 Nexus turret. This is going to be game 1 going over to Conqueror Gaming. And even though their ADC disconnects at the end of the fight, they don't need it. Koros is able to carry the fight at the end, and the base race goes to the side of Conqueror Gaming.
So that was the situation I was afraid of in the in the situation that Clock doesn't disconnect. That being said, it did happen, and I want to say it probably sped the game up a little bit more than anything.
I want to say you told me so. I get it.
I want to say it sped the game up a little bit.
We all know you're the superior analyst here. You
But,
don't have to rub it in my face.
I am superior. Bow down. But I mean, they could have won that tower dive. They could have won that 5v4 if it had happened. So I'm not surprised to see them just try for the 4v4 and say, you know what, we don't have our 5th, but let's try this, see what happens. Like, this is probably our best chance to win with the AD carry disconnected here. So
Bad Player there, kind of stunned up under the turret. I think gave Ozzy a little bit sense of false hope. He steps up forward to try to get the damage onto Bad Player, but that was a full health Ornn, and Ozzy just kind of gets caught out. And look at those damage charts, my god!
Yeah, that's what I was just looking at.
1,000 damage in a 24-minute game.
That's what I was just looking at. Oh, man.
There. 3 full items on this Swain when even his own team members had just barely finished their 2nd items. 176 CS, 2nd best or 3rd best in the game, sorry, right behind Clock. But he had the most gold in the game by over 2,000.
Yeah, pretty solid there. I'm going to take a quick look here at Vision as well. 53 here from this Morgana, and honestly, pretty solid here from the Conqueror side for the most part. However, top lane was a little bit iffy there with only a 10 vision score on Bad Player. Conqueror did pick up the game and win 1 here, or in the win in game 1. Why is English hard? Why is English so hard for me tonight? Jeez.
English is a tough language, man. It's like
Jesus,
the second hardest language in the world to learn.
I can't believe that, dude.
It takes a long time.
I'm dying a little bit, man.
Words
Holy crap. Alright. G-rated server, right? We got this
absolutely.
G-rated
we are family friendly here at the ABL.
We are fucking family friendly.
Whoa.
Oh, I mean, we're family
We're
friendly.
friends. Me and Fridge are friends.
Yeah, yeah.
There we go.
What he said. All right,
But
just gonna
not
wait for.
entirely sure who is if we are going to be able to continue this series. We will be waiting for word from Clock. Hopefully his internet comes back up extremely soon and we can continue the series. But Conquer Gaming.
Do we have a time frame in between games?
I do not know the protocol on that. I don't think this has ever happened before.
This is an interesting one where someone disconnects for good, essentially.
But I think we are going to be going into a short intermission here while we try to figure things out. Hopefully we can get the rest of this series back to you guys. Otherwise, I don't know if we'll reschedule. I don't know if we'll give the win to Conquer Gaming. Hopefully we can get you guys some more information as soon as it is available to us. So sit tight, guys. We should have more info soon, hopefully.
Yeah, we will be back shortly here.
despite Clock disconnecting there at the end. It worked. Yeah, so a little bit of the same playstyle here. Kaukiki going for more of that lane bully, split pushing type playstyle, while Bad Player really wants to stick on those tanks. And it worked out for him last game. He was able to have a lot of really great engages in the middle of those fights. But, Maokai, not one of the better tanks up in the top lane. You mentioned there really aren't that many tanks at all. Ornn kind of works because he does have quite a bit of damage, but I'm going to be worried about Bad Player getting poked out of lane here. Yeah, and what I do notice from the compositions here as we go into the 3-minute spectator delay is we really have similar play styles on either side, but just with different champions. So I like that the teams are kind of sticking to their little niche, the kind of play style that they've created for themselves. Conqueror Gaming kind of has the same. They have the Bad Player on the tank in the top lane. Virginico is back on that Sejuani. Koros, the Rise, similar to Swain, has some lockdown, has a lot of single target DPS as opposed to Swain's kind of AoE team fight potential. So that hurts them a little in their team fight, but that's kind of picked up by Clock here, back on a hyper aggressive ADC with Misfortune. If she's able to get a good ultimate off, that is more than enough AoE damage added to a fight. And then obviously Bardo back on this Morgana that he did so well on last game. Yes, and the thing is, Slave here picking up that Kindred. Kindred is extremely strong right now. So Kindred was already strong last patch, but they recently just reverted her W. So instead of slowing a monster's attack speed, it now heals her, kind of like it stacks up like a static shiv proc, but at 100 stacks it heals her instead on her next auto attack. But if Kindred is able to just pop that ultimate in the middle of the fight, that completely nullifies Clock's ultimate, as nobody inside that circle is going to die. Um, so yeah, they can definitely be taken very low, but they'll also get the heal from Kindred's ultimate. Um, I don't know the exact specifics on that, but Kindred definitely a nice pickup. I like that in this team fight. in this composition, but we see a lot of also gap closers on Full Send Gaming. They really want that up in your face play style that we saw them go for last game, but it really didn't find a lot of success. And here we see winning lanes, or mostly winning lanes for them again. I don't think the bottom lane is a winning lane for them anymore, which is kind of where they struggled last game. They had the Xayah and the Rakan, but they, kind of lost the lane to the really hyper aggressive Draven and Bardo just playing so well on this Morgana. But I think Kaukiki should do very well up in his lane against the Maokai, and Ozzy should do okay against Koros at least early game. Once Koros gets some items, obviously it'll be a different story, and we saw how quickly he got to 3 items last game. But I would like to see Slave go up to the top lane a little bit more and try to start snowballing Kaukiki, because if there was a hope for Full Send Gaming last game, it was Kaukiki. Even though he really didn't get much attention up there. I don't think he needed any, but he could have used some. Absolutely.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
And we do see a lot of aggression here. Bad player getting caught out in the jungle, though. Ozzy has the Q, jumps in, but now that's on cooldown. So he doesn't have a way to get out. Just a little back and forth poking here by the two teams here in the river. Nothing's really going to come of it other than some vision. We did see Full Send Gaming lose, a bit of vision in their jungle level 1 last game. Now Kaukiki is going to find bad player again here in the bush. Does hit the true damage procs and takes out about a quarter of bad player's health. And I would definitely like to see, like we said before, even with that Conqueror, Slave really going up there, because Slave also has that max HP damage on his Kindred's E. So, slows him, 2 auto attacks, able to get the E off. Bad player, nice trade there. Back onto Kaukiki, took up quite a bit of minion damage there. But if you can get this Fiora rolling, especially with the composition that Conqueror Gaming has, they have those 2 kind of mega tanks. Kaukiki's just going to be able to shred through them in these fights, and nobody's going to be able to answer him on the 1v1. Ooh, but Slave here wrapping around in the middle lane for a gank. He's gonna get the slow onto Koros. Has the red buff. Virginico is here too. Koros will have to flash away, and now Virginico is in his own 1v2. Slave flashes over. He has the mark onto Virginico. Can he collect it though? The blast cone away is gonna save him for now, but Slave is gonna pick up first blood and collects his mark in the process. I mean, with the champions that Full Send Gaming has, I don't think you want the First Blood going anywhere. They have so much damage on their team. But really nice wrap around there. But now, well, we have a fight in the mid lane. Kaukiki is gonna find Virginico at his Raptor, still only level 2, and now the max damage procs are gonna come out. So much max health damage there, and now Kaukiki is gonna get a kill for himself. And Virginico, Slave not letting Virginico getting anything in his jungle. He's gonna have his pick of the litter up there. I believe that is another stack onto the Raptors. So for Slave already at 3 stacks actually, is well on his way to being a formidable opponent there. He's gonna clear out the Raptors. Bad player is gonna go check the Raptors here, but Slave is just gonna hop on out, and Virginico is so far behind, only 12 CS, still level 2. Oh, but now Virginico is spotted out on a ward by the Raptors, and he's gonna get collapsed on. Why are we looking at bottom lane? Yeah, I don't think Slave was quite in position there to collapse. But what happened there was Ozzy roamed down and put a ward on the allied Raptors because he knew Virginico was going to come and try to contest those. So they spotted him out on the Raptors, and they were able to wrap around and get a nice little collapse. But Slave was a little too far away. They weren't able to get both of them there in time. So really smart tracking of Virginico here by Full Send Gaming. Oh my gosh, and lots of damage going out there onto Koros. But now Kaukiki is going to dive in on a bad player in the top lane. Slave is going to come help him out here. The red buff and the red smite is going to start burning bad player down. Virginico is here to save his top laner. Doesn't look like he's going to do much. Fridge, I believe you're actually muted on the stream right now. I'm listening to the stream and I don't hear your voice, and we have a couple of people.
What the fuck? Son of a bitch fuck. Alright, that is the most awkward thing that's ever happened.
So I think I am going to be solo casting here for the moment.
You're good, buddy. You're good, buddy. I know what I did. I know what I did.
Technical difficulties.
I know what I done
Let us know in
did.
the chat if you guys can hear.
I'm pretty sure I fixed it. I accidentally had something muted. I must have clicked a hotkey or something. That's really awkward. I apologize.
Yeah, I think you're back now. So hopefully we are good here.
That is so awkward.
Fridge talking, guys. I promise it wasn't just me being boring. I was waiting for Fridge to finish what he was saying. We have our
man, that's amazing. I love it. I hate it.
But now Koros wanting to go in onto. Oh, flashes in to finish the kill. Ozzy there, an incredible display. Koros landing the stun there, but Ozzy flashes in with the ignite to finish the kill, and now Kaukiki wants to trade some damage onto bad player, but that is a tanky Maokai, and he just heals it right back up, and Kaukiki starting to get low. Bad player might decide to engage here. Misses the Q.
Unfortunately missed the bush with that sapling, but not a whole lot of engage there. With
but now Slave is going to find Virginico here in the jungle, is going to get stunned up, and we're back in the top lane, but a lot of damage going out on Virginico, and he might fall to the wolf. But Jacob Arcane shifts over, and Merc flash, headbutt pulverized to try to take it out, and Bardo is going to go down to Slave, now 2-0. Where was that going, Jacob?
Dragon, bro!
And now Full-Sun Gaming is going to go towards the Dragon. Thanks for the leash, Ezreal.
Just a bit of a misclick
Teleporting
from
back
him.
to lane here, but a nice collapse there by Full-Sun Gaming onto Conqueror there in the bottom lane. And with that pressure they created, they're going to be able to get a free Infernal Dragon. Which is only going to help them do exactly what they want to do right now, which is fight, fight, fight.
So bad player up in this top lane. I like the rush on Bramble Vest, as that's gonna help with Conqueror in the earlier part of this game, and it's also pretty nice to have against Fiora just in general, stopping some of that healing coming in from the Vital Strikes. But at the same time, you look at it, he's behind by almost 30 CS already. He's been struggling in these tank versus bruiser matchups, and reasonable for him to struggle here. But he's a pretty significant amount of CS behind this early in the game.
Koros is roaming up, and Kaukiki might be trapped out here. Gets rooted up by Koros. Doesn't dodge it with the Vital Procs. Will flash away from the Maokai ultimate, though. But while that ultimate completed there from Merc, but a Realm Warp is going to get the rest of the team to safety. Well played there by Koros.
Yeah, solid Realm Warp there from Koros to get them to safety. But this is kind of FSG's jungle on this top side now. We have actually Merc kind of just roaming around freely as it's Jacob sitting in the bot lane. Currently alright. Has that tier he's just going to stack up for now. CS-wise, he's pretty even, but about a 30 CS advantage sticking strong for Kaukiki up in this top side, so that's going to be pretty scary on this Fiora to just be able to essentially freely farm.
Yeah, we do see the CS lead that, Kaukiki was able to get that in his last game as well on the Jax, but, this is still a very healthy turret up here in the top side, and I really haven't, seen as much attention as I would like up here in the top. Yeah, Kaukiki is ahead, but he's not able to push his advantage at all, and so he's still stuck up in there in the top lane, where if you send Slave and Aussie up there, turret dive that Maokai, get that turret down, that allows Kaukiki to start roaming around the map, creating disadvantages with the lead he has already acquired for himself. And here we go, now we see Slave up here. They're listening!
I think the difference between this game, regardless, I think the difference the difference between this game and last game here, though, is your whole team is basically ahead at this point. I mean, bot lane's relatively even for the most part, considering CS advantage over to clock, but I mean, you've got about a 30 CS advantage here on Aussie, plus a kill and an assist. Your jungler is 2 kills, 1 assist, and pretty significantly ahead in terms of CS. And then, if you're Kauki, you're almost 40 CS ahead at this point, plus you just got the Rift Herald, so that almost entirely guarantees a tower somewhere. And I mean, I say it, just speaking it verbally is one thing, but stating a specific number, 5,000 gold ahead. FSG is 5,000 gold ahead at 12 minutes, which is insane.
Absolutely, and this is what they wanted with their composition. This is what they tried to do last game, drafting those all-winning lanes, but they weren't able to execute on it this time, doing a much better job of it.
Yeah, and Jacob's starting to put out a little bit of damage here now that he's got a Sheen. Not necessarily a ton of kill pressure just yet, but able to kind of answer back when they get aggressed upon a little bit here.
Now Kaukiki, bad players all alone. He doesn't have his tower to back him up anymore. The ultimate is popped there, but save there. And Kaukiki is going to go back in on a bad player. Does proc all 4 vital stacks, so he will be healing. He's going to try to 1v2 his way out of this situation, but he's getting really low. Lots of safety. Bad player is going to
almost
with Virginigo getting kill credit.
Almost managed to pick up the kill onto bad player in that 1v2. And honestly, that's entirely Bramble Vest. Cutting that healing, if Kaukiki had full healing, that would have been an easy 1v2 for him.
Ooh, but a nice ultimate coming out here from Misfortune to deny the stack from Slave on the blue buff. Or did he get it?
It looked like Slave.
actually
I think
picked up
Slave
that
smited
blue
it. I think Slave. No, he didn't smite it. He just autoed it.
Well, he
I don't
did
know
get
what
the
I'm
blue buff
saying.
regardless, but now Aurelia caught under the turret.
Oh!
Nice snare by Koros to kill him. And Slave here is caught out, dashes right into the binding, and the ultimate is going to pop by him, only going to delay his death. He flashes over, though, but a flash by Virginico following him will pick up the kill. And we
Still a
start
lot
to
of
see
trading
some
happening
gold
here now.
Back into the pocket of Conqueror Gaming here.
All of this shutdown gold is starting to well, okay, not all of it, but a little bit of shutdown gold there for FSG. Or from the
But now
FSG Slave.
Kalkiki is catching Rise window shopping and picks up a kill under the turret on Conqueror's mid laner.
Feels bad. Thinks he's completely alone there. But
Probably, I
Kalkiki had other
assume he
plans.
just pulled up the shop there and wasn't paying attention to where Kalkiki was. But Virginico coming in to take out the wave is going to try to CC Kalkiki under the turret here, but Kalkiki
Nice
gets
patience
stunned
from
up, nice chunk
Virginico.
of damage onto Virginico, but he is going to trade a lot back. That's a lot of max health damage, and he takes out Virginico. He's
That's a lot of health.
He almost won the 1v2. You can't 1v1 that Fiora. And that's going to be double buffs going over to the Fiora
No,
too.
1v1. Really good patience there from Virginico. Basically waiting for the riposte before using that CC. But
Yeah, but afterwards he extends a little too far. Kalkiki going to be stunned up by the Maokai ultimate.
Another good
Will
riposte.
The rest of the CC, well played by that. Aussie is in the middle of the fight. And now a nice ultimate by Misfortune, but Kalkiki just dashes right around it, taking a little bit of damage from the Rise, and here comes Bardo to join the fight, but Full Send Gaming is going to back off, take their one kill, and get out.
okay, so this is starting to become a scary Kalkiki again. Despite having
Now
little help in the
wants
early
to
game.
contest this red buff, but Slave will pick up that stack as well. The stun misses on Virginico, and he's just going to blast cone out of there.
Yeah, and especially devastating is an ahead Fiora with Conqueror. This would have looked like a terrible, terrible idea to pick Conqueror on Fiora if he fell behind. But because he's so far ahead, he's going to look like a genius. On ahead Fiora in general, but now he looks like even more of a genius for playing Conqueror.
And
Like
with
if
the
he
double
was
buffs here, it's going to be hard for bad player to deal with
Absolutely.
that. Not play, but Merc, flash, headbutt, pulverizes onto Bardo, but Bardo will just flash away. And now Kalkiki might want to dive onto bad player under the turret. Doesn't have the Grand Duelist ultimate available just yet, but doesn't really care. He's going to take a couple of turret shots, might just wait for the next wave. Bad player is going to back off.
Bad player's got a little bit of sustain on that alt or on the passive, sorry. So he's got that.
Ooh,
He's
but
got
Bad
that
Player
going.
didn't actually finish his recall. Now Kalkiki has the ultimate available. So if he wants to dive, he does have a lot of healing there for him. But Kalkiki taking a lot of turret shots. He is super low. Uses
Yeah,
the Grand Duelist, but doesn't decide to go in for it. He's one turret shot away from death. But Slave is going to come up here and try to finish him off. Starts to slow. The red buff plus the red smite does so much damage. And here the Misfortune, nice ultimate onto the turret, but isn't going to be enough. Ezreal is going to get the turret, but Merc is going to trade his life for it. Stopwatch there used by Bardo to keep himself alive.
yeah, and Merc just re-engaged there just to be sure that they were going to be able to pick up that turret. Jacob managed to finish that off in the process. Not a whole lot else happening there in that bot lane, just kind of turret and tower dive. Suicidal tower dive. But definitely, that's where you type in all chat worth. As he does pick up the turret.
Worth
Hashtag, yeah, you gotta hashtag it. Hashtag it. It's not. It doesn't count if you don't hashtag it. Sorry, my bad.
Kalkiki walking through a lot of wards here. Gets slowed by clock. He's in a little bit of danger here. Should be able to dash over the wall in a couple seconds though and get out to safety. Virginico was starting to roll him down. But Kalkiki, slippery duelist he is.
Kalkiki
plenty
don't care.
safe, and he's gonna resume the split push. Merc's starting to roam up. Might try to help out his side laner. And we see Ozzy going up to the top lane to take his hand at pushing against bad laner. But now Kalkiki wants to go in on the clock, uses the Grand Duelist, and that's a lot of damage. Gets 1 kill.
What timing!
And stuns him as well. He will take out Bardo for the double, and Virginico has to run for the hills instead of giving up the triple. And Kaukiki now 5-1. Just tearing apart Conqueror Gaming.
Yeah, so put Kaukiki on a carry is what I'm learning tonight. My lord.
Definitely comfortable in this high carry potential champions. Didn't find the success on Jax, but it working out for him on the Fiora. And now Merc headbutt pulverized on the Koros is going to get slowed up by Slave. Slave is taking the turret. Isn't going to finish off the kill on the rise, but now Virginico is here in the backline. Full Send Gaming is on the wrong side of the fight, but Bad Player dives in. Nice Misfortune ultimate, splits the team up. Aurelia's diving in on the Misfortune, though. Doesn't finish off Clock. And Aurelia gets stunned under the turret. The Kindred ultimate's going to keep him alive for now. And now Bad Player's going to go down to Aussie. No, to Slave, pardon me. And that Kindred ultimate saving Aurelia there really helped out that fight.
Yeah, definitely mitigating a lot of the damage that could have come through there.
Now Jacob
pretty solid there.
Wait a minute, the turret shots almost goes down.
Calculated.
Wanting to dive in onto Koros, the headbutt pulverized from the Alistar. This is getting scrappy. Lots of low health balls are on the side of Full Send Gaming, but they will get the inhibitor and they will reset.
Yeah, and honestly, as a whole, FSG's been doing a great job this game. But this is a Kaukiki I would not want to meet in a dark alleyway.
Oh, no, 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 no.
My
Kaukiki,
goodness.
6-1-2, 50 CS over his opponent. As the Triforce and the Ravenous Hydra completed, they split push monster. We've seen just the burst coming out from these Vital procs.
Absolutely, and again, nobody can 1v1 him this game either.
Definitely not, and this time, Conqueror Gaming hasn't found leads elsewhere. The last game with a similar composition, they were able to find wins in the 4v4 and just kind of avoid Kaukiki for the most of the game.
Right, and
this time,
yeah,
they're just kind of losing everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely, and even like you mentioned, it's not just that they're not finding leads elsewhere; they're actually losing elsewhere. Like they're behind by about 10k gold right now, which is scary for them. 20-minute mark. Oh, X-Flash!
Get the help pulverize onto Koros, and Kaukiki picks up another kill. He is dominating. Amazing flank there by Merc.
What a good X-Flash there! Honestly, that was pro. Completely surprised Koros there. I've accepted your way of calling him. I've accepted your way of calling him now.
Now Kaukiki might be in trouble, running away from the Sejuani.
Good pass, dude!
Stun, and dashes away from still caught in the Misfortune. Also, though, Kaukiki is running low, does get hit by that Dark Binding, and that will be the shutdown. But on the other side of the map, Full Send Gaming is taking the Baron. Teleport coming out from Bad Player, but interrupted by
he flashed it!
Oh my god! He stops Clock from joining the fight, and now Bad Player is alone trying to delay this Baron. Koros has joined him, but Full Send Gaming takes the Baron anyway. Merc is gonna die here, just trying to buy time for his team. But now, Rise has to be careful. Virginico popping out of the bush, though. Ozzy and Jacob Arlo, nice two-man stun from the Aurelia to save their team, and they get out clean.
That was super, super well played there, especially from Merc, using up that flash to basically stop that teleport and guarantee that Baron for them. The one time I shouldn't say the one, Kaukiki has died twice, mind you, but seemingly invincible, not quite. Not quite invincible just yet. But my goodness.
Collapse on quite quickly there. Well played by Conqueror Gaming, though, to recognize that they were alone and collapse onto Kaukiki. They lost the Baron, but, you know, they gotta get something. At least they got the shutdown goal.
Right, and honestly, Kaukiki's ripostes have been so on point this game, and Virginico almost getting caught out there, but he actually almost managed to get away because he was able to riposte that.
Nice headbutt pulverized there by Merc, and Bardo throws the binding the wrong way, tries to predict Merc, but The juke boots are on the cow tonight. I wanted to make that rhyme, but I couldn't. I
tried super hard, man.
Words are hard.
It's alright, I've been struggling with English all night.
But now
Or-
Kiki is caught out 1v2 under the turret, is taking up turret damage. Nice Ripazay there. And Virginico is getting low, but Clock is gonna take down Kaukiki. That is a lot of damage coming out from Clock here, but a inhibitor turret is gonna go down because of it on the other side. And ooh, headbutt pulverize not quite found by Merc, but Slave is gonna take down Clock. And now Bad Player is in the thick of the fight. But Aurelia going in and jumping on top of the backline. Barlow is going to go down. Aussie on a killing spree, and Conqueror Gaming is just disappearing off the face of the map. And with a Baron buff on the side of Full Send Gaming, this is just going to be the game. 20 seconds on clock, and I don't even think he could defend this if he was up. Aussie, Jacob, and Slave popping out. Cooldowns left and right. They don't need him anymore. Tying up the series 1-1, and we are going to Game 3.
Yeah, so whereas Game 1 had a little bit of a back and forth here and there, this felt pretty one-sided for the most part. Conqueror did have a couple bright moments, but FSG pretty much held this game in control most of the time. Pretty solid comeback after Game 1 was a little bit on the rougher side for them. So we are, in fact, going into a Game 3 here. As it turns out.
The series is tied 1-1 between Full Sun Gaming and Conqueror. So we will be going to a Game 3. I believe we're going to take a short intermission. Is that right, Fridge?
I believe we will be taking a short intermission here. Let's take a quick look here at the damage and warding charts, just because.
Absolutely, we can definitely talk about that. I expect
Kaukiki
to be absolutely insane.
Not overly surprised. Finished pretty significantly in first place.
Wow. 20,000 damage, 24 minutes.
Now, can you
Didn't
take
quite
him?
live up to Koros's game last game.
I believe, what was that, like 22 out of, or
I
21
think
and a
he
half out of 23 minutes or something like that?
Yeah, something
pretty,
like that, but definitely,
pretty dang close regardless.
definitely put in a lot of work, carried his team to victory. We've seen one win from each side here. We'll see.
Much better vision score here from FSG.
Absolutely. We'll see if Full Set Gaming is able to close out the series in our Game 3, or if Conqueror is going to pull out the win.
Alright.
We will be right back, guys. Don't go anywhere. Game 3 will be coming soon.
We'll give it about, I think they're going to have to do another pro draft, so it's going to be probably 5 minutes or so at minimum. 5 to 10 minutes, we'll say. Depending on, did you get an invite into here yet?
I did not.
Son of a... I don't know why, but I can't... I was like blinded and couldn't find your name for a second there. So I typed it.
Are we on live anymore? Or no?
Yes we are. Just 1 second. Alright, we will be right back. Alright, everybody, welcome back to some more ABL action here. Audio, we're into game 3, buddy.
We absolutely are 1-1 tied in the series so far between Conqueror and Full Send Gaming's. This is exciting. It all comes down to this.
Yeah, and Full Send Gaming picking up a pretty convincing Game 2 victory for themselves. Are they going to be able to ride that momentum into Game 3? What do you think, buddy?
Well, I definitely think it's going to come down to whether or not Conqueror is able to adapt their draft. So I haven't really liked their draft so far. They keep running this double tank composition, which, although it does have a lot of lockdown, it can take a while for these tanks to really come online and be this unstoppable front line. And with games being so much quicker, especially on this patch, it's worrisome when they just go for so much scaling in their composition. The first game worked out for them because they were just able to straight up win the laning phase and they didn't have to worry about the scaling times. But the second game, when Full Send Gaming was able to apply that pressure, they were just able to take that lead and snowball it.
Yeah, I completely agree. That Game 1 went pretty well for them. Basically built on a few leads that they had already had in the lane phase. Specifically, Tauros in the mid lane on that Swain. Quite strong on that. I believe he came out of lane phase 7-0, if I'm not mistaken. But regardless, not what you want to go against, especially with something that takes a while to scale like Swain. That being said, it looks like these guys are ready to get into this champ select. They did again do a pro draft, so should go pretty quickly here.
No worries, everybody. We have a very interesting draft for you here. It's gonna be great. We do have.
I love it. I love it.
Conqueror Gaming needs a little bit longer to get set up before we jump into the draft phase, but it's gonna be great, and we're gonna have a lot to talk about here, Fridge.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah.
I don't want to go too much in depth on it just yet. I'm not, but I am. I'm excited to see this game.
Okay, so
it's gonna be a super
into
secret
the draft phase here, and yeah, let's just get into it.
It's gonna be
so first off with the band, we have some pretty standard stuff. Nocturne coming out from Conqueror Gaming.
Yeah.
The Swain coming out from Full Send Gaming. I like the Swain ban. It was what really allowed Conqueror to get that lead in the first game.
Completely agree.
Koros just kind of got fed and then carried his entire team to the late game. And that's
they're taking away.
unstoppable.
Speaking of mid laners, they're taking away the Irelia from Ozzy here in this mid lane. Played really well on that last game. Also, Brandon Renekton.
So I like the brand ban as well, because Full Send Gaming wanting to accelerate the pace of their game. And there's one of the picks I wanted to talk about. Urgot coming out from Kaukiki here. Urgot.
Now,
Urgot.
This is this is gonna get even more interesting as we go down this. I'm excited to see the Urgot.
Okay, so I like this pick. I like that it's interesting. We haven't seen Urgot very much, and I love that Kaukiki's playing something different, but it also worries me for two reasons. Because the first reason is that we haven't seen Kaukiki on a tank yet. We've seen him on only damage dealers. He's really wanted to pressure his lane opponent, bad player who loves these tanks, get that lead, and then take it around the map and get leads elsewhere. The second reason lies in that taking the leads elsewhere. Urgot is not a split pusher. Yes, he does have some decent wave clear, but his main thing is really winning lane and then grouping up with his team. So it's going to be interesting to see if Kaukiki can adapt to that to that different play style here and go for a more team fight focused pick instead of that carry top laner that just runs over his lane and then snowballs the game.
Yeah, and we said it gets weird. We've got Clock on Ornn and Bardo on Braum. I love this. I hate it, but I love it.
Are they? I could have. I think they still have a couple seconds to switch. I thought Clock was playing the Vladimir.
Yeah, okay. I was just gonna say, based basically the order they picked it that confused me here because I was like,
this makes more sense.
okay, that makes more sense, and that's how I assumed it to be. But based on how they picked it here, like, isn't it
So,
like you pick what you're gonna
Gaming
play?
deciding not to go for the AD carry this game. Vladimir has definitely been a premier pick this patch in the bottom.
Yeah, I agree. Annoying.
And the reason this is coming out is a lot of AD got some base stat nerfs, and so bot lane people will pick these bruisers like the Vladimir, like Yasuo, Aurelia, all these kinds, and then a hard engage support. They will get their first item, and they will just all in because AD carries kind of need 2-3 items to be effective at this point.
Yeah.
So they'll just hit their power spikes first, and they'll just non-stop fight. But we see Merc here on the Morgana. Morgana has been a staple in this series. We've seen it in both of our games today, and if Merc
all three games on Merc as well.
I believe the other two were actually on Bardo.
Was it? Okay, I might have gotten that backwards.
Merc was on the.
It was. Oh yeah. You're right. It was. Yeah, you're right. It was Bardo. I'm getting my.
Bardo. Bardo was doing very well on the
getting
Morgana.
My sides backed
it looks
up.
like Morgana was actually first picked by Full Send Gaming, so they didn't want to give.
So
that
they
to Bardo.
definitely did not want to give that over.
Yep. So we'll see if Merc is able to play to the level that Bardo has shown us that he can play that Morgana. But looking at these games, I kind of see a little bit of a, I don't know, because Conqueror Gaming still has a lot of scaling on their team, which worries me again. They have the Ornn, who wants to scale up, the Vladimir, who is strong early but is more late game champion, as well as the Orianna. And the Braum. Xin Zhao, though, if Virginico can get ahead on this Xin Zhao, we've only seen Virginico on Sejuani so far. So if Virginico can play this carry jungler and get a lead, then he might be able to kind of do what Koros did in the first game and just carry his team to the late game where they'll be unstoppable.
And I've seen Virginico play carry junglers before and do pretty well, although I don't think I've seen him on this Xin Zhao yet. So we will see how he can do on this champion. But he is capable on carry junglers, without a doubt, based on what I saw toward the end of last season.
Yeah, and I actually, honestly, I don't really like the draft from Full Sun Gaming as much here either. It feels a little disjointed for me. We do have Ozzy on Zoe. First time that Zoe has been let through this series, and Ozzy has shown that he can be a fantastic Zoe player. And you also have Jacob on the Ezreal, which that combination, especially coupled with the Morgana, offers a lot of poke. But then you go over to Slave and Kaukiki, who are on this Kindred and the Urgot, and those are both really short-range champions that don't offer much engage. And I don't really see how those two fit into the composition. I know Slave is done really well on the Kindred, but the composition out here from Full Sun Gaming just seems a little thrown together at the last minute. I don't know if maybe they were surprised by some of the picks or the bans in the draft phase. I saw there was both Fiora and Jax banned away from Kaukiki, so they definitely targeted him there in the second round of bans. But I just don't feel like Full Sun Gaming has an entire team. It feels like they have two different compositions mashed together.
Full Sun Gaming, yeah, they have a little bit of an interesting comp here. Could be something that Kauki's been working on a little bit in private here over the past. Like you mentioned earlier, we have not really seen a whole lot of Urgot as of lately.
No.
What certainly
I'm interested in keeping an eye on here is Ozzy, because Ozzy has been known to be he's proven that he is a star.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a
time
doubt.
and time again, he has carried his team on his back, no matter which team he's on. And if Ozzy can start snowballing on this Zoe, nobody is safe. The Ornn is not safe. The Xin Zhao is not safe. The Orianna, nobody is safe. Ozzy can just pop out from behind a wall and paddle star you in the face and just take 75% of your health bar. So my eyes are on Ozzy. I think he needs to be able to carry his team on his back this game.
Well then, pause right off the bat. As if the 3 minutes wasn't enough.
So it looks like Slave did have a bug where he could not see his HUD at all.
Okay.
So he is restarting his clients.
Should be pretty brief then, anyway.
Yeah. Nothing with his connection issues. It's just a bug in the game, so he should be back very quickly. But we will see these champions out on the Rift soon. And we see Ozzy here with the minion dematerializer starting off the game.
Yeah, I'm not super surprised to see that. I think that gives you a pretty solid amount of pressure and wave control here in this mid lane.
Suggests to me that Ozzy's going to be looking to kind of roam around the map,
yeah,
use those minion dematerializers to push his wave,
yeah.
and then go get leads elsewhere, which I like. I definitely like that kind of aggressiveness already coming out of Ozzy, as well as the Ignite. I see a lot of barrier on Zoe. I don't see a lot of Ignite.
Ozzy's going kill pressure here.
He wants kills.
He wants kills. Ozzy, we mentioned before game 1, Ozzy very capable of getting a lead here in the 1v1 in mid lane. And Zoe, a champion he feels extremely comfortable on, so Ignite feels like he can win this 1v1 without much problem. Choros is grabbing up the Orianna, so going for more of a team fighty mid laner. I like the barrier in this situation.
Especially against the Zoe, that extra
completely
200 health can mean your life or your death.
Ooh, cheeky invade from Conqueror, maybe?
They are
cheeky
moving out
invade from FSG, maybe?
And we
Gonna
see the
run
ABL
into nothing.
special.
Gonna run into nothing.
5-man invade on opposite sides of the map. I swear, I see this only like so much in the ABL, but like never anywhere else. I feel like
maybe they talk about it. Like they talk about it before the game. Like let's just we're each gonna get vision on red side. We'll call it a good day after that. We can walk out. We can take it. You guys choose.
And I want to see the ABL teams completely like swap sides. Like I want them to see them swap lane.
Yeah,
like,
I'm gonna attack.
Wave.
I'm gonna attack my own tower.
I want to see them proxy every wave.
Everyone pick Singed. All for one Singed. Let's do that. Like whenever they release All for One, that is the new game mode for ABL when they re-release All for One for that week.
But Kauhiki here, he's still in the mid lane. His minions are already up on his turret. He is going to be very late to lane here.
He's going to be a bit late to lane here. I don't think he'll miss too much, though, honestly, with Virginico.
No, bad player.
Getting a bit of help here, yeah.
So,
but
Ozzy already taking Koros to half health here. Look at this. Ooh, nice binding there from Merc onto Clock. 100% so far.
100% so far indeed. Trying to prove himself against Bardo, the Morgana Master himself.
And now Virginico coming in for an early gank onto Ozzy. Ozzy blows his flash early, and that gives Virginico the confidence he needs to knock up Ozzy and take first blood for himself.
Very well played there.
Play there. Virginico knows where the enemy threat is, and he is taking it out early.
Went in behind Ozzy at level 2. Didn't even give him a chance to reach his own level 2. Burnt his flash. And something to note here, actually, Ozzy has Hex Flash. Interesting enough. But did burn Ozzy's normal flash. And managed to pick up the kill in exchange for his own flash. Really, really solid level 2.
I really like this, because we talked about, we already have fights here in the mid lane. Slave is getting caught out by Virginico. Nice Sleepy Bubble Trouble landing on the Xin Zhao to deter any more aggression. And Slave slinks out of there, burning his flash. Koros had to burn his as well to survive. Mercury missing the binding. But I really love how aggressive Virginico is being here. We talked about how him on this carry jungler.
Oh, Slave might be in trouble!
Finding Slave in the jungle. One more auto attack to knock him up. He will knock up Slave. He has the red buff burning, and that's a second kill for Slave. But now he's caught on the wrong side of the map. Sleepable Trouble will land. He smites to gain a little bit of help, but I don't think he can make his way out of this one. Kaukiki coming in to shut him down. Ozzy almost dropping there, though. But that's an early shutdown kill onto Kaukiki. Valiant effort there by Virginico, though.
Yeah, and no items at the time onto Virginico here. Does almost pick up the kill in a 1v2. But instead, one kill going over to Kaukiki here. who has done so well in these 1v1s so far in this series, looks to give himself an even bigger advantage here with this red and blue buff onto himself. Should be able to bully out Bad Player a little bit here with that.
Yeah, we were talking about how we were worried he couldn't bully out Bad Player. Well, double buffs will do that.
Double buffs should help out a lot. Plus the range advantage. Bad Player pretty beefy for only being level 4 so far.
Bad Player still putting out plenty of damage, though. He's going to have a much easier time pressuring this...
Nice Sleepy Trouble Bubble!
Ooh, Sleepy Bubble Trouble lands onto the Orianna. Koros will not fall. One more stack from the Kindred would have procced that E. But he will escape with a little under half his health. Doesn't have to spend any summoner spells. But we do actually see a nice CS lead for Orianna here so far in the middle lane. And she's picking up a nice big wave here too, so Ozzy roaming around a little bit as well as that early death really hurting him. Now Kalkiki wants to go on Bad Player. Bad Player out of mana but putting down plenty of damage onto Kalkiki. And Kalkiki walking into that minion wave doing so much damage to him. He's only at 200 health right now.
Yeah, and Kalkiki's misplay there was largely based on the fact that he tanked the entirety of Bad Player's minion wave. Like, that was a minion wave and a half that he tanked that whole time. Did not help his cause. It does a lot more damage than you expect in the early game.
Sleepy Bubble Trouble just missing there by the Zoe. That could have been bad for Koros. No flash. Does have the barrier, though.
So despite the early kill here for Kalkiki, the early double buffs that he managed to pick up does get a Phage, which is a pretty solid first back for him. But does not really actually zone out Bad Player as much as he would have liked. Only about 6 CS ahead right now. Now it is pushing against him, so that is likely to grow a little bit. But I guess I kind of had expected more and engage from him here.
Here's the engage you were looking for. Kalkiki going in. Ozzy backing him up. Sleepy Bubble Trouble is dodged there by Bad Player. Nice jukes. A Battlestar is going to hit. Ozzy picks up the flash, but isn't able to find any chase. That was a nice juke there by Bad Player.
Good fancy feet there from Bad Player to dodge out of that Sleepy Trouble bubble, but now an engage attempted here.
Nice
from the
binding there
lane.
onto the Vladimir, but the Unbreakable is just going to tank up all that damage. Can't really follow up through that. Ozzy and Virginica waiting for each other.
Now Ozzy has a flash waiting.
Sleepy Bubble Trouble burn. But Ozzy has the backup of Kalkiki there. He's going to get away just fine. But Slave seeing Virginica up there on the top side gets to move in and start to put some vision down here in the bottom jungle of Virginico. Koros roaming down to the bot side, but is spotted out on this control ward here in the river. But Bardo and Clock gonna be able to collapse onto the...
delayed stun, and that's why Braum is so obnoxious at times.
Very great collapse there by Bardo and Clock. Able to catch Slave out, punish him. The empowered Q from Clock there on the Vladimir came up just in time. Coupled with the Ignite from Bardo meant Slave had no chance to escape there.
Yeah, and the scary thing out of this Conqueror team here is Vladimir getting ahead. Honestly, they are pretty team fight centric here. And as you mentioned before this game started, they're kind of trying to hit the later part of the game if they can. Vladimir with an early kill is not what you're looking for if you're FSG. One kill up here onto this Urgot, but everybody else sitting with zeros in that column. 3-1 in favor of Conqueror so far, and about 1,000 gold advantage for them as well.
Absolutely, Conqueror doing very well. They've shown time and time again that they are willing to fight the 5v5s if you give it to them. And it looks like they are being set up to do just that. Bad Player and Kalkiki dueling here in the middle lane. Virginico comes to turn it into a 1v2 call. The Forge got coming out. Slave is here to back him up, though. Ultimate pop by the Zinzao, but he's going to go down really low. Ulted by Kalkiki, and now Bad Player is in a 1v2, but no, here comes the middle lane and the Vladimir roaming all the way up from the bot lane. Ozzy has to flash up a Predator pop by Clock. Is he going to turret dive? He's going to turret dive for it. He flashes in onto Kalkiki. Sanguine pulls over the Sleepy Bubble Trouble. A bad player getting executed there. The empowered Q here from Clock available. He's so low. Can Ozzy pick up the kill? No, he can't. Bardo here will try to save the turret in the bottom lane. That is healthy, but really a lot of time and cooldowns invested there by Conqueror Gaming, not picking up anything for it.
Yeah, and honestly, they seemed almost like they were in desperation mode on that play. Clock burnt teleport, burnt flash, used the Predator there. That's not the end of the world by any means on that one, but the tower dive just felt desperate to try and pick up that kill. Was a little bit on the risky side, and they lost a lot in bot lane for it, like in terms of pressure, anyways, at the very least.
Yeah, and he is now given up his CS lead, is now in an over 10 CS deficit, roamed all the way from bottom lane to top lane for that. Wasn't able to get anything and just lost his entire lead in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and interesting to see here, we actually didn't make note of this. Actually, D-Loon brought it up here. He's right, but he's wrong at the same time. Now, I've seen... Now, Clock grabbed up the Predator here. I don't think it's fully wrong, but I think it's something I see more in top lane than in this, marksman-ish role, so to speak. I feel like I've seen... I want to say Electrocute more often than not when you see Vladimir in bot lane. I'm not going to be one to say that he's completely wrong. That's just what I've seen more. But I feel like top lane is where I've actually seen this Predator boot come out of Vladimir. Now engaged top lane here.
Player and Kalkiki here fighting up in the top lane. Nice flip over by Kalkiki. Both tanks trading damage back and forth. Kalkiki taking a turret shot as well as all that minion damage once again. But both will escape with about half of their health. Pretty even trades there. FSG Slave picks up that stack for himself. They Kindred, they are now at 1 stack total. So that was Kindred's first stack there. We're falling a little bit behind.
A little bit behind, but did show some pretty solid understanding of the champion last game. So despite being behind, we'll see what he can do in this one. We know he knows how to play it from last game, but we'll see what he can do from a deficit. Now Virginico top lane.
Absolutely. Now Virginico coming up to the top lane. Call of the Force God comes out, knocks up Kalkiki, and he isn't long for this world. It's a bouncy house up here in the top lane, and nice shockwave pulling Slave back into.
Oh, he stepped out!
Turret. He stepped out. Kindred there just timing the ultimate, steps out of the ultimate right as that last turret shot hits him. He was trying to time it so he could walk away after that last turret shot had fire, but he trades his life over instead. Nice binding onto Braum here, but that's a tanky support and he shouldn't be able to do much.
Unfortunate misplay from Slave. Oh, step out just barely before.
All in jungler uses the summoner spell, but taking a lot of turret shots up there. And Koros is going to be fine, slinking away with just the smallest sliver of health.
Yeah, and good use of those shields to save himself. While throwing out the ball to deal back.
Both of his summoners and not getting the kill there, Koros has got to feel good about that.
Yeah, definitely got to feel good about that. Picked up the kill onto Slave just before that. Almost got Ozzy on the backside of it, but not quite. Ozzy decided, you know what, that's too many tower shots for me, I'm out of here.
And we see both teams fighting their heart out in this third game, going for the desperation plays across the board. So far it has worked out more for Conqueror Gaming. They are 6-2, up 2,000 gold almost in this game 3. And we talked about how this Conqueror team has scaling on their side, so Bolsen Gaming has got to pull something out of their sleeves soon here.
Absolutely. Scaling plus the team fight. The team fight's another thing to look at. Like, they have a better team fight between Virginico and Toros being able to throw that ball onto him and basically just have this Sinjao jump in, throw in a Shockwave, or even bad player's Ornn. I guess take your pick generally between the two, but...
And I'm still looking at Aussie here. We talked early game about how if Full Sun Gaming is going to win this game, it's going to be on the back of Aussie. And with that minion deal to materialize, but here, Call of the Forge God coming out in the jungle. Virginico jumping on top of Kaukiki, pops the ultimate. He's 1v2 at the moment, has to flash out, but here's bad player to back him up. Fail flash there. Oh, not a fail flash, but Koros is going to pick it up anyway now. Kaukiki, red smited, trying to juke away from the Urgot, sorry. Ultimate gets hit by the Sleepy Bubble Trouble. Kaukiki will fall as well as Slave. 2 for 0 fight there in the jungle from Conqueror Gaming.
Yeah, good fight there from Conqueror, picking off a couple of members of FSG. They're sitting in a pretty solid spot in this game. 8 kills to 2, about 2,500 gold ahead. Starting to get closer to that 3,000 mark. And all the while, they're playing pretty beefy later game champions that are going to scale pretty well. They've got a bad player on this Ornn doing really well this game in comparison to his past couple of games where he struggled a little bit, but sitting pretty solid on this right now.
But here comes Bardo tagging up Merc with those concussive blows. The Black Shield is on. They are patiently waiting it out. Virginica was down here to try to follow up on the engage, but the Black Shield just going to deny it. Such a strong tool for avoiding those ganks.
Bad player with the BM backing right in front of Kaukiki there. But Kaukiki knowing very well, maybe it's a bait. Just lets him back up, just to be safe here. But honestly, if you're FSG, I think at this point you ride the back of Kaukiki and Jacob here. Jacob will scale pretty well. I'm assuming he's probably going to go for this double tier build.
Here comes Slave trying to contest the Infernal Dragon, but he's just going to fall quickly to Virginico. Has to pop the ultimate. Bardo is here to keep his jungler alive, and they're going to pick up Slave on the back end. Nice binding onto him. Aussie going to pick up Virginico. Kaukiki fighting a 1v2 over here, but bad player is going to almost take him down. He will live, though. Clock goes in with the ultimate. Aussie landing the Sleepy Bubble Trouble onto the Bard. Merc will get kill credit for that one, as well as Ornn picking up Kaukiki in the back. Call of the Forge God whiffs onto Aussie, but Koros is going to pick him up on a rampage now. And now bad player is looking for the rest of the team. Flashes in onto the Morgana, and Koros picking up the double kill. Jacob now here running for his life. He has Arcane Ship, but it's not going to be enough. He's going to fall to bad player, who is now on a killing spree. And now Conqueror Gaming is going to pick up the Infernal Drake on top of that 1 for 4.
And that actually looked like it might turn around to be a pretty good fight for FSG, but actually ended up getting turned around on them yet again. Unfortunately for them, did drop.
Slave here coming, so Conqueror Gaming has to back off this Infernal Drake. Looks like Slave and Kaukiki will try to start it up. A bad player wants in. He gets thrown back into the team. Virginico is here. Jumps onto Kaukiki. Oh, one more outside will knock him up. He is going to fall really quickly. Jacob teleports in just to flash out. And he might actually just go ahead and die. No, he takes out Clock before he's able to get the Empowered Q off. Now Bardo jumping in to save his team. Slave can't chase. The Sleepy Bubble Trouble will find Bardo on the Braum. Not the target you want. Virginico, Conquer Gaming,
they steal it!
Able to jump in and steal it! Trades his
what a steal for Virginico!
Infernal Dragon!
What a steal for him! So, the initial fight there was still a 1 for 1. Despite the fact that most of Conqueror was sitting on pretty low health bars there. But what a steal from Virginico. Does give up his life, but that really, really keeps FSG down. That Infernal would have been huge for them.
And
they're starting to fall behind. Yeah.
For Conqueror Gaming. So when we talk about a scaling composition, your scaling doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah, without a doubt. Now up 2 Infernals to 0, and
there's another one spawning next.
Oh, could it potentially triple Infernal. FSG needs this next Infernal. Absolutely needs it.
But one thing I do want to mention with all these kind of scrappy fights around the objectives, there's a lot of shutdown gold going over to Full Send Gaming. Although Conqueror Gaming is up by 8 kills, the gold lead has been close to only 1,500 gold. So a lot of gold coming back into the pockets of Full Send Gaming with just these very minimal amount of kills. And that might give them just enough breathing room to start to try to find some advantages. We saw Aussie and these last fights starting to dish out some serious bursts to all of the members of Conqueror Gaming. He was able to pick up a kill and almost a couple others before he was taken down there.
Yeah, no, Aussie's going to start to get a little bit scary as he gets into the game.
Landed onto the Koros, and that could just be another shutdown kill. This time going over to Slave. Call the Forge got coming out from Bad Player, but he's gonna fall too. This time to Kaukiki. And there you go. Those are 2 more shutdown kills, going over 800 gold to Koros and 600 to Ornn. Or Bad Player on the Ornn. So 2 more kills, and now the gold lead is almost completely closed. Just 700 gold separating these 2 teams.
Yeah, solid play there from FSG. Picking up a couple of catches here in Conqueror's jungle, and now they're going to grab up this mid turret as well.
And for the first time, since the very early game, we actually see a lead. It is only 100 gold, but Full Send Gaming is up in the gold right now. So they have come back quite a bit. Nice binding landed onto Clock. Bardo's going to jump in with the Unbreakable and deter any more aggression. Nice
good arcane shift
away
out,
from Winter's Bite there. I believe that's the name of the...
Absolutely correct. You are dead on, buddy.
I'm learning.
I learned a thing or two.
I got learned some.
That'll learn you right there. But pretty solid comeback here from FSG. They're not completely over the hump just yet. We did talk about that double Infernal Drake here. That's going on for Conqueror. They could easily win this game on a triple Infernal. They've won fights around major objectives. And now Rift Herald dropped from Virginico here on the bot side.
We see both teams starting to move down to this bottom side. We might see a fight. Virginico dives in, taking up the turret, though. He is going to flash on top of Jacob. He will pick up the kill, but he will trade his life back to it, over to Kaukiki. Call the Forge God comes out, but will whiff. Concussive blows stacked on Kaukiki. He will get stunned. Slave in the middle of it. Pops the ultimate. He's not going to go down yet, but he will go down eventually. No, he Qs out and flashes away. He might actually live. Clock trying to chase him down, but isn't going to find him yet. And Slave actually surviving there. That player winding up trying to stop the backs, but well-timed escape there by Slave, and it is actually, it is still a 2-for-1 going in the favor of Conqueror Gaming, but
plus tower on top of that, just to throw out gold advantages
where they can.
Right, and honestly, from Slave, that was super well played from the drop ult. Waited out until it was just about to heal him back up, jumped over the wall where they couldn't follow him, and then just flashed over the next wall just to be sure that there was no way that they could follow that up. But, maybe didn't need to use the rift there, but definitely guaranteed that tower. Pride's mentioning that was a wasted rift. I don't know. I think that was pretty close to the end of. I think that was probably 4 minutes.
I believe Virginico diving in there didn't realize that the rest of Full Send Gaming was waiting there in the bush, so he thought he could just get a collapse on the 1 or 2 members under the turret, kill them, and then use the rift to its full effectiveness. So he just didn't quite expect the rest of Full Send Gaming to have backup there in the bush. So that's kind of why, yes, the rift could have gotten 2 towers, but he played it to the best of his knowledge. But now Clock here wanted to get it on Kaukiki, but that's a really tanky Urgot, and he might just go down. Has the empowered Q to heal him up, and now Bardo is going to come try to help him. Concussive blows is fully stacked here, but Slave wants to dive in on the back, but Virginico is going to stop him, going to knock him up, but he's going to fall right away, and now Kalkiki is gonna take down Bardo there. 2 members down for the side of Conqueror. Follow the Fortune is not gonna do anything. Ozzy really low, will get away though. Jacob is gonna slay Koros there. And now Conqueror Gaming is on the run. Bad player very low. A flash there. Nice flash binding by Merc. And Kalkiki's just gonna turret dive on top of Clog. I don't think he's gonna be able to survive this. And an ace coming down from Full Send Gaming, not losing a single person.
And they're gonna turn around on this Infernal Drake. They needed this so badly. And they're gonna get it! They could not afford to give a third Infernal over to Conqueror. So this is super huge for them.
Played. I don't even know if that was well played by Full Send Gaming or just too ambitious there by Conqueror. Clock there trying to 1v1 the 6-4 Kalkiki. This is the only Fed member on Full Send Gaming. You try to walk up to him, 1v1 him. He gets chunked out at the very beginning of the fight, and then the rest of Conqueror Gaming has to try to jump in to save him, and they just all get collapsed on, get aced, and lose the Infernal Dragon. Huge blunder there.
Yeah, and despite all of the sustain that a Vladimir has in that kit, being chunked down that low at the beginning of a fight, as we just saw, does prove detrimental here. Conqueror now finding themselves in a bit of a significant-ish gold differential, considering they were actually ahead by about 3,500 gold not long ago. Now finding themselves behind by about 2,500 themselves.
The gold, there is a couple of people have chat in asking. There was a lot of shutdown gold that has gone over to the side of Full Send Gaming. So Riot changes a patch or two ago. Shutdown gold, it's the same amount of gold overall, I think. Or it might have been increased, but it goes directly to the player now. So instead of seeing like 400 gold going to ground, oh, we got a fight here. Virginico diving in, but Kalkiki is going to burst him out right away. Bardo and Clock just getting obliterated. Nice ultimate by, oh, but Clock there doesn't die because of the Kindred passive. Kalkiki very low, will take down 2 though. Triple kill for the side of Jacob. And Full Send Gaming just wipes the board there for Conqueror. And Jacob picking up...
And the quadra kill! Quadra kill to cap it off for Jacob. So he was sitting in an alright spot before that fight. Trinity Force, he's got a tier item fully stacked. Not sure, doesn't look like he's going for that second tier item that we've seen relatively frequently. But the quadra kill here onto Jacob gives him so much gold he's going to be able to back buy whatever he wants. Plus, they're going to pick up this inhib tower, and it looks like they're pushing for the inhib itself. Members from Conqueror coming up. Could this be an overstay? Probably not. They're just going to back away.
And these fights by Full Send or Conqueror Gaming have just been so scrappy. They are finding these members and just immediately diving on them, but they don't have vision in any of their jungle, and they are just getting collapsed on by Full Send Gaming. You see now they are just starting to go into their own jungle and start to put down wards, but they have got to stop playing so aggressive against this very strong now Full Send Gaming team. They had such a huge lead in the early game, but just through blunder after blunder, they've kind of thrown their lead away.
Yeah, and honestly, I think a big part of this is Jacob stayed pretty safe there in the bot lane despite everything that was going on around him. You had Ozzy decently behind, but Kalkiki got a bit of a lead. Slave super behind early on, but Slave Slave held off despite the fact that he started, I believe, 0-4 before anything happened.
0-5,
potentially even 0-5, and if that's the case, I mean, coming out 3-2 off the backside of it, plus the 10 assists, he's done a decent job of evening himself out here a bit. The early game was really, really well played from Conqueror, but this mid game has been entirely controlled by Full Send Gaming.
Yeah, I definitely think it's just been really Conqueror making a lot of mistakes. They're constantly diving on top of members and then getting collapsed on. So, you know, that worked in the early game when they were really strong. They had all their leads, but then you just give over 1 or 2 kills. But a sleepy bubble trouble here onto Virginico means that he's about to go down. Kindred ultimate is going to keep him alive a little bit longer. Virginico wanting to dive in on his slave, but he's not going to find it. Merc using the Zonias there. and getting forward. Jacob is godlike. The Bubble Trouble is gonna miss, but Kaukiki just in the back line, wrecking bad player. Clock is gonna slink away, but that is 4 dead on the side of Conqueror. And Full Send Gaming is on the push. They have the inhibitor down in the middle lane, but they want to get the ace. They want to get the 5th player.
And another
using that flash he picked up, but it looks like Full Send Gaming is actually
they may push in for the
end.
Push in for the win here, yeah.
10 seconds on Bardo, but about 15 on the rest of the team, and I don't think it's going to be enough time.
I don't think
it's going at the end. Can Clock pull off the miracle play? He has no cooldowns. He has a teleport, no flash, no ultimate. Can he 1v4?
I don't know if this ends just yet. I think they're going to back out.
Bardo to try to defend the turret. Full Send Gaming is just going to
back bit.
Conquer to their super minions.
A little bit too much pressure for them, but they do pick up a Nexus Tower, and that's huge for them on the backside of a 4-for-1 team fight. And for the first time, we actually see FSG with a kill lead, too. So 7k gold advantage, just about 7k gold advantage in their pockets as it sits. Plus now their first kill lead of the night.
Absolutely. Full Send Gaming doing a amazing job punishing the mistakes of Conqueror Gaming this time around and really just taking the lead that they were given and running away with it.
Yeah, and while Ozzy struggled early on the Zoe pick, he's come back extremely strong, showing why you ban that against him.
Bad player finding Kaukiki here in the jungle. He is a little bit cut off from the rest of his team. Full Send Gaming dancing around this Baron. There is no vision from Conqueror here. Virginico
and Virginico got out and bursted down!
Arcane's just over the wall to get the kill. And you just see how much damage Ozzy about to put out. And that gives Full Send Gaming the confidence. They can go for Baron now. Virginico's dead. There is no smite available for Conqueror. It is, I think, just going to be a free Baron unless Conqueror wants to try to contest. They do have a lot of team fight potential if they're able to hit it. Merc over here acting as a living ward. He can flank around the team. Call the Forge God coming out. Land on his lane. Gets deleted. Kaukiki's about to go down too. He's getting corrupted by the Baron. Kaukiki drops. And there's no ultimate from Kindred available in this fight. Ozzy getting chased down now. Bad player flashes onto the back line. Jacob getting really low here. Nice leaving Bubble Trouble lands onto Clock to try to deny him. Jacob, one more hit is going to take him. And he gets shut down by Bardo with the Winter's Bite. And now Clock wants to chase down Morgana, the final member available. Ozzy, though, is in the mid lane trying to get the push. But Virginico is going to come to stop him. He is going to have to back off. And Conqueror Gaming holds on not only the Baron, but the game as they find a few kills back for themselves. Now Ozzy lands a Sleepy Bubble Trouble on top of Virginico. Is going to use the Blast Cone to just get over to the safety of the Dragon Pit, though.
Extremely risky play there from FSG going for that Baron. They find themselves caught out and Conqueror's able to clean them up. I don't think that they really needed to go for that Baron. They had a pretty significant advantage in just regular team fights. Maybe they could have baited it. They didn't need to start it, I don't think.
I don't actually mind the Baron call because they did kill Virginico, but where Full Send Gaming kind of blundered there was the indecision of the team. So Merc and Jacob were actually sitting over by the blue buff, so they weren't even really on the Baron, and that says to me that they want to start the Baron, and when Conqueror comes in to engage, they want to turn around and fight them and kill them. But the rest of Conqueror, the rest of Full Send Gaming when Conqueror came in, stayed on the Baron. So the team was split. Half of them were fighting Baron, half of them were fighting Conqueror, and Conqueror were just able to kind of roll over since they really only had to fight half the team.
So perhaps a bit of a miscommunication here from FSG, but they do still find themselves with a bit of a gold lead, about 3k up here. And that is a lot of damage onto a bruiser.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Clock down to half health now.
This is why, like, in my mind, if someone's a Zoe main, I just usually ban it. I don't care, like... If it's like you get behind and Zoe still does damage, and I don't understand it.
Now Full Send Gaming dancing around this Baron once again. Clock is here in the bottom lane, but he does have teleport if he needs to. Call the Forge God coming out as well as a
Good
teleport.
call, the Forge God.
Slave getting the Black Shield on him. Doesn't want to make that mistake. Once again, Virginia diving into the back line. Ozzy is dead. Slave pops the Kindred ultimate to keep the rest of his team alive. He's going to dash away, but he is going to die as well. And now Merc is not long for the world. Concussive blows stacked on him, but doesn't get tagged up. Koros is so low. Kalkiki able to take him down, though. And now Kalkiki is tearing the rest of the team apart. Triple kill by Kalkiki there.
Very, very well played from FSG there. It looked like Conqueror may have a fight going for them in that case, but did end up getting aced in the end on that one.
Kalkiki just put out so much damage.
So much damage on this Urgot indeed. 10, 5, and 14.
That started so bad for Full Sun Gaming. First, Ozzy got popped right away. Slave threw down the ultimate, but then jumped out and just died. And then it was Kalkiki, Merc, and Jacob essentially fighting 3v4 there in the back line. But they just popped the Kindred ultimate on top of Kalkiki so he couldn't die. The Black Shield on him meant he couldn't be CC'd.
Oh, the bait!
And now they're gonna walk more. Virginico is getting solo, has to pop the ultimate, just 5. Jacob down to about how to have. Clock wants to dive in though, and he's just gonna assassinate Jacob, but he's gonna trade his life for it. Slave is gonna take him out. It's a 1-for-1 trade. 80 or bot laner for bot laner. Sleepy Bubble Trouble is gonna go wide. Virginico healing back up. A nice paddle star just chunks Virginico right back down.
So, still looking for a fight. Are both of these teams here?
Will get stunned up by the Morgana binding.
Not a lot coming outside of these bot laners.
Flash to try to get some damage over on the wall. Now Full Sun Gaming back on this Baron for the 3rd time. They have complete vision control over the river, and Clock is not available. Jacob has teleport when he comes back up. Clock does not.
And it looks like FSG's got this.
Conqueror either should be able to just take this for free.
Conqueror either didn't know or just accepted that it was gone, but...
Well, they had super minions pushing into their base, so they had to choose between fighting the Baron or losing their base. So.
Someone had to deal with supers, but I guess nobody was going to go to contest it. A bit too risky, considering the situation.
Jacob also had his
in their
teleport available, so if he respawned at the same time as Clock, he would have been able to join the fight still faster than Clock. So. Lots of disadvantages for Conqueror there. I think it was the right call to just back up, give up this Baron, but these next couple minutes are going to be really rough for them, and this might be where Full Sun Gaming looks to close out the series.
Yeah, and about a 7,000 gold advantage here for FSG, but this gold advantage is going to start to mean less and less now as we start hitting this later part of the game.
And this isn't a part of the game that we see very often.
No, not especially not lately. Especially not lately. It's been a very exciting back and forth game here. Both of these teams winning fights that throw them back into this game when they're behind or give themselves bigger leads.
Now, we did talk about the scaling on the side of Conqueror, but with the damage Kalkiki especially has been putting out, if Full Sun Gaming executes their team fight correctly, and it seems like they have been winning team fights, I think the key here is really Slave's ultimate. It's really just been able to keep Kalkiki alive no matter what. And here comes another fight. But Virginico on top of Slave here is going to assassinate him. The Slave ultimate's going to come out. Clock here just annihilating the backlane. Kalkiki is going to fall as well. No, he's going to slink away. Virginico still alive, kills Jacob too. Bad player flashing onto Slave to try to take him out. Ozzy shutting down Clock up in the backline. And Ozzy jumping in the fight will get a double kill, but it is him versus 3. Ozzy gets a triple kill! What's going on?
This is why you don't give Ozzy Zoe! Oh my god, that is a take! He just took away half his health bar!
Slave and Ozzy now.
Ozzy, man!
What started out a disaster for Full Sun Gaming just turned into an Ozzy highlight reel.
Calm down, he has a family, man!
As he is just able to assassinate huge groups of Conqueror Gaming, and just when they think they've won a fight, he says, no, you haven't. I am not going to lose this series to you.
Yeah, and Conqueror won a large chunk of that fight, but Aussie turned that hard around for FSG, kept them in that fight, and actually gave them a bit of an advantage off the back of it with that inhib turret dropping as well. Nobody from Conqueror able to answer that. They're gonna back off still a little bit of time on this Baron. We'll be dropping very soon here, but mid inhib will be respawning pretty soon here for Conqueror, so that is actually pretty nice for FSG to get that top lane inhib down as well, as they can now pretty freely push where they please yet again. Now these fights have been extremely back and forth. Do you think someone here maybe splits a member off and tries to answer, specifically FSG, maybe tries to split something off and...
But Virginico flashing in here on Jacob. Jacob will just arcing shift away. That is the big summoner down. Call the Forge God coming out. Is going to land on multiple members. But Kindred drops the ultimate. And so he's going to have them survive. But Koros lands a nice shockwave and just obliterates two members. Aussie, I don't know if you can carry this fight, buddy. Bardo is going to stack the concussive blows on him.
Oh!
But oh, the snipe!
The snipe from Kalkiki, that was so insane!
Downtown lands the ultimate on Koros as he's recalling and takes him into the afterlife. My god!
That was an insane snipe there from Kalkiki, and that actually kind of saved that fight as they can continue their push a little bit here, but they gotta be careful. Teleport coming in.
Blows onto Kalkiki. The teleport comes in from Jacob as he arcane shifts backwards. Ultimate comes out from him. Conquer Gaming is really low. Clock is starting to get very low. Damage mostly blocked there by Bardo. But Aussie could assassinate any one of these members.
Yeah, and this FSG...
4 at the moment. 3v4 at the moment. Actually, Merc is still coming back from base. Koros will spawn in about 5 seconds, but Bardo and Clock doing their best they can to survive against these super minions. This turret should go down for freedom.
Really quick.
Are they gonna give up the inhibitor as well? I don't think they can. Virginico
diving engage.
He just gets thrown back. Uses the ultimate to survive the damage coming out from Aussie, and they take down Kalkiki. That is gonna be huge in the upcoming fights, and they have to get back to stop these minions.
And despite every little advantage here that Conqueror is getting, they're giving up something as well. That's no inhib turrets left for them. Inhib in top lane down as well. So, despite the fact that they actually won out on that fight there, they're also down to no inhib turrets. So, could be huge for FSG going forward in this game. Again, we're hitting very, very late into this game, so a death is going to become very, very crucial for one of these teams.
Absolutely, we are, and we talked about the amazing scaling coming out from CQR, so they are definitely going to have a better time as this game goes on. But Kalkiki is just been an animal. Kalkiki and Aussie have just been solo carrying these fights. Not really solo, it has been a team effort for sure. Slave has had a multitude of amazing ultimates, and now they're going to look for this Elder Dragon. Both teams have 2 dragons. Conquer Gaming does have the 2 Infernal, so getting this would be a huge buff to them.
Yeah, definitely would be huge for Conqueror to be able to pick this up. Virginico's going to be looking to go in and potentially steal this. But it looks like FSG's not fully wanting to commit to this in a all different
Clock does! He is hit by the binding, but he pulls out of it instead. But Bard hit by the Sleepy Bubble Trouble. And Aussie gets some nice damage on there. Virginico starts up the dragon.
Meanwhile mid, dude! Kalkiki splitting it out!
Kalkiki is just taking the inhibitor mid lane. Conquer Gaming has to decide what they want to do here. Bad player did back to try to deal with them. They are going to try to fight the Elder Dragon. And it looks like Kaukiki's gonna back off for now, but Ozzy takes out Koros there. Virginico popping in on top of the Kindred ultimate, but is he gonna be able to really do anything? He has the Guardian Angel. He will respawn. The clock here back all alone. Virginico is just gonna fall to Jacob, who gets the double kill. Nice Sleepy Bubble Trouble going there on top of Clock. He's just gonna get binded up. And that was bad player against Kaukiki trying to defend against the push. But I don't know if he can do it. The rest of Full Send Gaming is on the way. Kaukiki just wants to end the game here. That player is doing his best to stop Call of the Forge God. It's coming out. But Kaukiki flashes over it. And he's trying to take out bad player. Just take out the Nexus, man. Here comes the rest of Full Send Gaming to assist their top laner. Kaukiki taking
trying to pad the stats
of the fountain, doesn't care. Full Send Gaming. Oh god. Ozzy entered into the turret there, but Full Send Gaming gonna pick up the Nexus, gonna pick up the win, gonna pick up the series 2-1 victory over Conqueror Gaming.
Alright, so that was an extremely close game, and it looked like Conqueror was going to win that in the early to mid part of that game. But Kaukiki, so much damage to him. Ozzy came around after falling pretty far behind in that early game. It didn't matter. FSG just seemed to have the better overall map movements. The macro was so on point for them, and especially on that last play there, we saw bad player having to actually burn his teleport to be sure that he could get back to deal with Kaukiki's split on that, while the rest of the team basically just contested and stalled out that last Drake.
Yeah, Kaukiki definitely put on a clinic there on the Urgot. We were a little worried about the pick in the beginning, seeing as he's mostly played carries in this series, but he did a phenomenal job.
I completely agree.
So he turned the tank into the carry, but Full Send Gaming here, pulling out the 2-win victory. Take a look at the damage charts. I want to see who topped it, Ozzy or Kaukiki. It was Ozzy by 61 damage. Beat Kaukiki.
Almost identical.
One auto attack worth.
Almost identical on that.
Kaukiki slacking a little bit. But actually, Jacob was actually only about 100 behind them. So all three members there of Full Send Gaming, Ozzy, Kaukiki, and Jacob, did a phenomenal job. Almost 45,000 damage each in a 44-minute game. So they were each putting up 1,000 damage plus in that game, which is absolutely insane.
Yeah, I completely agree. They turned around what looked like it was going to be a losing game and basically just absolutely popped off in the mid to late game there. And that game went so late. You mentioned about 45 minutes long in that game, but FSG with just overall better macro play going into the mid to late game there that actually gave them a huge advantage.
It absolutely did, but it was definitely a very great series to watch. It was an even better series to cast, and both teams played their heart out. I don't think anybody should go home disappointed after this series. Both Full Send Gaming and Conqueror did a phenomenal job in all three games.
I completely agree. So close in that last game, especially the tiebreaker game for these teams, and it went to the 45-minute mark. Was super back and forth throughout. These fights went Conqueror, FSG, Conqueror, FSG, and it was that way pretty much throughout the entire game. Now FSG kind of controlled game 2, Conqueror toward the later part of the game entirely controlled game 1, although that one was a little bit closer. This last game was about as close as I've ever seen a game in ABL. Extremely exciting game coming out from these guys.
Definitely, but we are finished with the series now. I believe we're going to start wrapping it up.
Oh, yes.
So thank you to everybody who came out to watch the stream tonight. We really appreciate it. We have we have 2 games going on every Monday and Tuesday on ABL Series 1 and ABL Series 2. You can also join our Discord if you want to get in more with the community. So we always stream at about 8 p.m. Eastern. So best way to support us, just come out, watch, have some fun with us, talk with us. We love putting on a show for you guys. So thank you so much. I'm Audio Adrenaline. I've been casting with my good buddy for the first time, finally.
Fridge. Good to be by your side for once.
I got a full 3 games with you. Interview. I'm not sure. Are we doing an interview?
I haven't done an interview the past few weeks. I don't think so.
I don't believe we are doing an interview today. We didn't have anything set up.
Believe interviews were just postseason, if I'm not mistaken.
I know we did one on the stream yesterday, but I think that was set up beforehand. We didn't have anything set up today, unfortunately, so we won't have an interview for you guys. But definitely, we might have some in the future. So that was going to be it for our stream. Catch us again on Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern, or again, join our Discord for all news ABL. Thank you so much, guys. Any last words, Fridge?
Thank you guys all for stopping by. I really appreciate it. It was a pretty exciting series, as he mentioned. Best way to support us, just stop by, watch, talk in the chat, have a good old time. We hope to see you all next week, starting on Monday evening. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.